This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. Justin Fields doubtful for Week 7 with a dislocated thumb. Fields reportedly having trouble gripping the ball after hurting his hand yesterday. Tyson Bagent, the Bears' backup. Bills running back Damian Harris released from the hospital after being stretchered off last night. Has neck pain but is expected to be fine. No more undefeated teams in the NFL. Niners and Eagles falling for the first time in Week 6. Philadelphia losing the lead late against the Jets on a Jalen Hurts pick. Eagles trying to get the first down to put the game away. Joe Fortenbaugh thinks that was a mistake.
He put the Jets in a perfect possession to win that game. And the credit goes to the Jets for capitalizing. But if you're Sirianni, you just got to know better. Kick it to Wilson. Make him beat you. I don't know why you want to give the Jet defense a chance to beat you. Make Wilson come beat you.
Fortenbaugh on Carlin versus Joe. In baseball, Rangers looking to take a 2-0 series lead against the Astros. Coverage underway on ESPN radio affiliates. Texas announcing Max Scherzer will start Game 3 on Wednesday.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Tuesday, there's a lot of mediocre teams in the NFL, but I'll tell you which one has a chance to turn it around. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tumplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Tigers win, Saints lose. Ton to do. Glad you're hanging out with us as we recap this football weekend. Peter Burns in 1 hour. Shea Dixon in 2 hours from right now. Massive recruiting wins for LSU. We'll get to it. Let us begin as we do every day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
All right, Tigers pound Auburn 48-18, and after back-to-back weeks of sweating games quite literally to the last play, after back-to-back Tommy Mansky weeks of sweating games to literally the last play, we needed a chill night. Didn't we? We needed a night where it's like, oh, okay, just kick your feet up, have a cocktail, enjoy the entire process as it played out. The only time in the game on Saturday where there was really any sort of stress was at the end of the first half, where you had 2 red zone possessions where penalties negated your opportunity to get in the end zone. You settled for short field goals, and Auburn had the ball before the first half after Jaden threw a pick. And it's like, well, it's 20-7. If they score here and get the ball to start the second half, then you're literally a freak play, a scoop and score, a pick six, anything like that away from this being a game. But the defense came up with a stop at the end of the first half, and you held them to a field goal to start the second half. So it's 20-10. LSU got the ball, promptly scored to go up 27-10. You're up 17, and it never got any closer than that. So really resounding win for LSU Saturday night in Tiger Stadium. The LSU offense is bordering on historic, and the LSU defense is improving. I didn't say they're great. I didn't even say they're good. I said they're improving, which we'll get to. When Brian Kelly met with reporters on Monday, he did the unthinkable. He compared this LSU offense to 2019, and he may not be wrong.
You know, it's fun to watch an offense like that. I hope for our fans, they're taking it in. I know 2019 is still, a trendsetter because it led to a national championship, and rightfully so. I mean, those were great players, but you should not take this for granted. This is pretty remarkable stuff. Really fun to see this offense play and the efficiency in terms of what it's doing, in terms of running the football, throwing the football, effectiveness, and then, getting better, certainly defensively.
On Saturday, LSU became the first offense in program history to put up 500 yards in 6 consecutive games. Even the 2019 Tigers didn't do that. LSU hit the 48-point mark for the 3rd consecutive game. The only other team in the history of the program to do that, 2019. Right now, LSU is 2nd in the country in total offense. They are 3rd nationally in scoring offense. Jaden Daniels is 3rd nationally in passing yards. He is just 7 yards behind your Heisman frontrunner, Michael Penix from Washington. Let me say that again slowly. Jaden Daniels is 7 yards passing behind Michael Penix. Malik Neighbors leads the nation in receiving yards. Yes, you are talking about an historic offense. They're not to 2019 standard yet. I don't think they will catch that team, which had 15 games to compile stats we will never see again. But the way they are pacing and trending, we've only seen anything remotely close to this once before, and that was in 2019. As for the defense, they are improving. I think everyone has asked some form of the same question since Saturday night. Well, is the defense getting better, or is Auburn really that bad? And the answer is both. Auburn is really that bad. They have no semblance of a passing game. They do not have talent out wide. Their quarterback is not very good, and certainly Peyton Thorne isn't the guy that's going to beat you with his feet. Robbie Ashford has that ability a little bit. They used him at times, but LSU had a plan for it. But Jarquez Hunter's a really good running back, and LSU stymied that Auburn running game on Saturday. Auburn in the game ran for 139 yards. 34 rushes for 139, an average of 4.1 yards per carry. If we were talking about an elite defense, you would look at 4 yards a carry and go, ugh. But we're not talking about an elite defense. We're talking about a defense that gave up 700 yards 2 weeks ago to Ole Miss. Okay? So context matters here. There are 2 things I will tell you that are undeniably improved in the last 2 weeks. Missouri and Auburn. 2 things. Number 1, going to a 4-man front has made your defensive tackles more active. That's undeniable. Paris Shand, Harold Perkins, Jordan Jefferson, all deflected balls at the line of scrimmage. You had 2 sacks, 5 tackles for loss against an Auburn team that wasn't even really trying to push the ball downfield. And you still were able to create pressures with your front. This is something we talked about all throughout the offseason. The strength in LSU's defense was going to be in its front 7. But because of their alignment, they were not utilizing their front 7 and playing to their strengths. You are now with a true 4-man front. The other thing that allows is for Harold Perkins to play that nickel Sam role. And we're seeing it. Look at the way Harold Perkins is filling up the stat line. I mean, it's not a coincidence that they've solidified Perkins' role, and you see 5 tackles, 4 solos, a sack, 2 TFLs, a pass defended, and a partridge in a pear tree. They're allowing the game is no longer slow for him. Every week when he was having to play a different position and a different role based on that opponent, there was a lot of thinking. Now it's, hey, go be the super freak athlete that you are. And we continue to see it. Just like a week ago against Missouri, that first play of the second drive where they threw a screen pass, he crashed down, 2-yard TFL. Like, You're seeing that now, that Harold Perkins just go be a fast athlete in space and create havoc. Those two things are undeniably better on this defense, and it's allowing you to put teams behind the sticks, and it's allowing your defense to get off the field. This isn't going to be, I'll say it again, this isn't going to be a top 10, top 20, top 30 defense nationally. It's not. You've got some real challenges ahead, too. You got to go to Tuscaloosa. I know the issues they've had offensively. Florida and Graham Mertz just went on the road to South Carolina. It looked pretty good offensively, for a change. Yet A&M's had their struggles, okay? So, like, you've got opportunities also to have better performances than what you saw the first month of the season. Things that more closely resemble what you saw against Missouri, where you were able to get stops in the second half, and against Auburn, where you got stops and got off the field and created pressure and put them behind the sticks and put the offense in disadvantageous situations that you were able to take advantage of. So, yes, the defense is improving. They're not going to be elite, but since the summer, I sat in this chair and I said, when you have an offense that's going to be this good, you don't need to be top 10. You just need to be good enough. Do you remember we sat here on this show and went through the passing yardage rank for every national champion in the playoff era. I sat right here and said, you don't have to be top 10. You just have to be good enough to complement an elite offense, because the thing that every champion in the college football playoff era has had in common is an elite offense. That 2020 Bama team that won the Natty, they were 70th in pass defense. 2019 LSU was 59th, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, in pass defense. You just got to be good enough. And you're starting to see that from this defense right now. Look, they got a lot to improve on. It's hard to sit here after a 48-18 win and nitpick, but there are things you can point to. You had 12 penalties for 100 yards. You had a false start on 3rd and 4 from the 7. You had a false start on 4th and 1 from the 13. 2 opportunities you could have to put this game away early. Instead, you settle for field goals. Got to clean that up. Gregory Clayton not fielding punts continues to be a problem. For the second consecutive week, your opponent has punted out of their end zone and pinned you deep. Last week against Missouri, they punted out of the end zone. You started your possession at the 8. Happened again the other night after Auburn's first possession. Punter standing in his end zone. Gregory Clayton doesn't field the ball, takes an Auburn hop around midfield. LSU starts the drive at the 22 after a penalty. They're punting out of their end zone. You should have the ball at midfield or better. You're starting at your own 22. You got to field the ball. Kyron Lacey had a drop on a 3rd and 7. Jaden Daniels threw a pick. There are things you can improve upon. It wasn't perfect. But when you have those things to improve upon, when you win by 30, it's a lot easier to watch film on a Monday. You know, everything you had as a goal in August is still in play. Yes, playoff, national championship, all that is still in play. I'm not telling you that it's likely. It's highly unlikely. It's highly improbable. But are those things in play? Yeah. Like, you're going to go beat Army this weekend. You're going to get a week off to try to get healthy, 2 weeks to prepare, to go to Tuscaloosa and take your swing. And if you manage to beat Alabama, can you beat Florida at home? Yeah. Then you get Georgia State, and then can you beat A&M at home? Yeah. You do that, you're back in Atlanta, you go take your swing at Georgia. If you manage to outduel Georgia in Atlanta, you're an 11-2 SEC champion that has a win in Tuscaloosa and a win over undefeated number 1 Georgia. Are you in the playoff? Yes, you are. Because I don't think we're going to have 4 undefeated Power 5 champions. Again, I'm not sitting here telling you it's likely or possible or probable or any of that stuff. I'm just telling you that all those goals you had are still there if you keep improving and this offense keeps churning at this rate. So what a win for LSU. Just pound Auburn in the final year that we're going to see this annually with LSU and Auburn. But what a dismount for the LSU Tigers, 48-18 in Tiger Stadium. All right, it's after further review. Our show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light and our great friends over at Mockler Beverage. On Friday, we announced our winner, Ryan Phillips, who's our AFR Watch Party winner. By the way, Ryan Phillips came to Don Juan for Whiskey and Wine on Saturday.
Hey!
And I'm happy to report he's a super normal human.
That's good news.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have like all of his guys from his fantasy football team come to the watch party.
I was going to ask how the guest list was coming.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be really good. We're going to have food from Phil's Oyster Bar.
Ooh.
Mockler will have open bar for us. They're taking care of everybody's transportation. Party bus, Uber, making sure everybody arrives safely and gets home safely. So shout out to Mockler. It's one of the reasons I love doing business with Mockler. Man, Mockler Beverage and Bud Light. Hell, I'll say it. A lot of people say, Matt, why would you endorse Bud Light with all the controversy? First of all, I don't care. Do your own controversy, whatever. But mostly because I love the people at Mockler. They've been great community partners for 40 years. Last year, they did 85 golf tournaments. Think about that. 85. They sponsored 85 golf tournaments. That's more than one a week. If there's a charitable organization you care about, chances are Mockler Beverage has benefited your charitable organization. They're great community partners, and I'm happy to go to bat with them every day of the week. So drink easy in Louisiana with Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints. Y'all check them out. Bud Light. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. I guess out of obligation, I have to talk Saints-Texans, do I? Can we put it off at all?
Yeah, no.
Anywhere down? Can it go somewhere further down the rundown that I don't have to talk about it?
No, because you have another Saints segment at 4:15.
Bury it?
Just get it out the way. Just get it over with.
All right, we'll rip off the Band-Aid next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. Man, I am so fired up about this. To be able to tell you about the guaranteed sale program. For years, Darren was so innovative with this program in Baton Rouge. The 2016 flood came along and really turned the real estate market on its head, but now it's been reintroduced. It's so easy. And there's no catch to this at all. Call Darren James if you're looking to sell your home. Darren will sit down with you. You'll agree to a price and a deadline. If Darren doesn't sell your home at that price, by that deadline, he will have your home bought with cash, or he'll sell it for free for his half of the commission. You have nothing to lose. Call Darren James and get your home sold. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Here at Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, we have in stock 2023 Toyota Tundras, and you can get 1,000 special edition bonus cash, $1,000 bonus cash. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
I don't want to talk about it. Got Peter Burns coming up in 40 minutes. Got Shea in hour 3. Vibes are good around LSU. I don't want to talk about the Saints. I'm not sure that I even have anything to add. I don't think I have anything new to contribute with the Saints. Seriously. I'm generally not at a loss for words. I sit here and I talk for 3 hours a day, every day. I've done that for more than a decade. I usually have a lot to say. You know what we're hearing today? Dennis Allen's not a head coach. Derek Carr, not a great quarterback. It's who he thought he was. Time to blow it up. Saints aren't going anywhere. All things we've said right here for more than a year, where many of you pointed at me and called me a hater, Baton Rouge guy, what are you talking about? The Saints, blah, blah, all that crap. Never mind, I'm the moron sitting in my home every day, every Sunday, with a man of God headband on, pacing around the den, throwing things well, maybe not throwing things. Don't want to scare the kids. But you understand my point. You're all just coming to the realization at your own speed, which is fine. You're all saying the conversation that we've had here for a long time when you just peppered me because you were still wearing your black and gold sunglasses, which I get and I respect and I love. But you were just peppering me with your own insecurities, and now you're coming to the realization of what this is. Y'all want to talk about the game? We'll talk about the game. Let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the game. Your defense was completely outmanned in the first half. They got pushed around. You allowed nearly 100 rushing yards and a half. But you put on your big boy pants, came out in the second half, played really well, gave up 3 points the entire second half. Did a really good job of continuing to give the ball back to your defense, your offense, to give them a shot. Your offense moved the football. You outgained them 430 to 297. C.J. Stroud threw his first interception, and then Zach Bond promptly gave it right back to him because, he's Zach Bond, and he's never made a play in his entire NFL career, so he had no idea what to do with the football once he actually intercepted it. So you gave the ball right back to him. Talk about Blake Grupe, missed 2 field goals. I can sort of understand the 52-yarder, but still you're an NFL kicker. This guy was his NFC Special Teams Player of the Week a week ago because he was 2 for 2 at 50+, and he goes out and pushes one and then misses one from 29, which is completely and totally unforgivable. If you make those 2 field goals, then at the end of the game, you're in a position to make a field goal to win the game, similar to the position you were in Green Bay when he grabbed the throat. And the funny thing is, we're sitting here on Friday, and I did pick the Texans to win the game, but my hope was that the Saints were going to have an opportunity in a close game on the road for Blake Grupe to have redemption, to have a kick late in the game and an opportunity to win it for New Orleans, because Grupe had missed 1 kick up until Sunday, missed 1 kick all season. It was the kick in Green Bay. And it's the only one we remember because it was the one that mattered most. So I was hoping he would have an opportunity for redemption, and instead the opposite happened as he missed 2 field goals, which really cost you an opportunity. But that wasn't the story. You should have never been in that position. The story is you were 0 for 3 in the red zone, which is kind of even hard to do. You miss a chip shot field goal, and you go for it twice on 4th down, and you don't convert. One of them, you got 4th and 4, and you throw a freaking screen pass behind the line of scrimmage. This isn't 3rd and 4, Cat Daddy. It's 4th down. You've got to throw the ball to the sticks. What's so crazy is forever that, everyone in the world knew, throw it to 13. Michael Thomas was just getting the ball. Just target Michael Thomas, big, strong dude, running the sticks, turn around, throwing the ball, first down. Didn't even look at him. Ugh. Carl Granderson's a stud, by the way. That's good news. Maybe you could trade him. Might be the only guy of any value right now. It's just that the game Sunday, the loss to the Texans, isn't as interesting as the big picture. Like, if you zoom in on the Saints right now, you could zoom in on New Orleans and say, hey, man, they're 3-3. They're a half game out of first place. You were right there against Green Bay and against the Texans. Man, you're 3-3. You probably should be 5-1 with your only loss at home to Tampa. The problem is when you zoom out, you realize this is a franchise that's backsliding. Like, that's the reality. Yes, they're 3-3. They're a half game out of first place. But your 3 losses, you gagged away a 17-point fourth quarter lead on the road against Green Bay. You got utterly dominated by Baker Mayfield in your building. And you went on the road to Houston and you let a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback hold you to 13 points and you lose 20-13. When you zoom out, you're backsliding. You have a bad head coach and a mediocre at best quarterback who, as we've talked about now since the day the Saints signed him, is beyond his best days as an NFL quarterback. And his best days as an NFL quarterback, the consensus is, might have had him somewhere around the top 10 in the league. His best days. Derek Carr is Andy Dalton. I don't know any other way to say this to you, except now that I say it again, as the sample size grows, maybe it starts to penetrate a little more. Andy Dalton spent 9 years in Cincinnati, the team that drafted and made him their franchise. They won games. They went to the playoffs. They never won a playoff game. And ultimately, Cincinnati said, we know what your ceiling is. We've gone everywhere we can go with you. And so they moved on. And Andy Dalton's been with 5 teams in 5 years, from Cincinnati to Chicago to Dallas to New Orleans to Carolina. And it's the same story over and over again. So look at Derek Carr. I'll say it again. I'm not telling you anything new. These are the exact same things that I said when the Saints signed Derek Carr. I'm just going to say it again now with a growing sample size and context so you can understand it. Derek Carr, 9 years with the Raiders. His and Andy Dalton's statistics from the last year in their organization, almost identical. 9 years, they'd gone to the playoffs, they'd won games, they never advanced, and that organization said, the organization that knew him best said, we've done all we can with you. And look what's happening. Now you've got a $150 million albatross across around your neck because you realize he ain't good. And you can't off-ramp out of this deal until 2026. You got 3 years. You got at least 3 years with Derek Carr. At least 3. So let me ask you. Now, the question that I asked you around the draft. Who would you rather be? The Saints with Derek Carr or Houston with C.J. Stroud? Both are 3-3. Who would you rather be? And if you say anything other than Houston and C.J. Stroud, you are a liar. Oh, I can look at Carolina and they're 0-6. I get it. They're 0-6. But you know what they're doing? They're taking their lumps with a rookie quarterback. Like when Cincinnati drafted Joe Burrow and went 4-12 his first year. And then in year 2, they were in the Super Bowl. You want to go to a different era? Peyton Manning, 3-13 in Indy his first season, set the NFL record by a rookie with interceptions in a season. Worked out okay for the Sheriff in Indianapolis, didn't it? Who would you rather be? Would you rather have the possibility of a championship or the knowledge that you're not going to be the worst team in the league, but you're never winning anything more than, right around 500, maybe you make the playoffs, win in a bad division sort of thing? Who would you rather be? That's where you are. I'd rather be the 0-6 Carolina Panthers today because they got a quarterback that as he grows, develops, and mature, gives them the boom potential. The Saints don't have that. The Saints are stuck with bad contracts that they can't unload, an aging team, a mediocre quarterback, a bad head coach who's over his skis. You're what you are. You are what you are. You are stuck in perpetual mediocrity. By the way, the Saints are going to beat Jacksonville on Thursday. Friday, when we sat right here and I picked the Saints to lose to the Texans, I told you, but I'm going to come back here on Monday. I'm telling you, I'm picking the Saints to beat Jacksonville. And I think they will. Saints will have a bounce back. They'll bounce back. They'll get refocused this week. They're going to be pissed that they lost. You're going to get your veterans to really work hard in that locker room this week. Everyone's going to be on notice. And that's before I even knew Trevor Lawrence was hurt and may not play. Saints are going to – and then I hate the road team on Thursday Night Football. It is so hard to play on a short week. It's harder to play on a short week when you have to travel. So I think the Saints win on Thursday. But then they're going to go to Indy and lose. Because that's what you are when you're in perpetual mediocrity. You're one step forward, two steps back. That's what this organization is right now. And so you could say, well, Matt, you're just complaining. What's the solution? I would love to tell you that my solution is be sellers at the trade deadline. And ideally, that would be great if you could sell, if you could unload some of your veterans and give them a shot to go win somewhere, and maybe you acquire some draft capital. Look, you've got your first-round pick this year, and you've got Denver's too. Remember, you got Denver's second-round pick, and they're awful, so that could be one of the first 5 picks of round 2. So you're probably going to have 2 top 40 picks. But could you unload some veteran players and recoup some draft capital? And the answer simply is no, you can't. Cam Jordan counts you $65 million next year in dead cap money. Michael Thomas, next year, $36 million dead cap. Marshawn Lattimore, $43 million. If you're watching, look at that far right column. That's the dead cap money. Ramchick, $46 million. Andrus Peat, $22 million. Alvin Kamara, $24 million. Demario Davis, $20 million. Derek Carr, $60 million. Taysom Hill, $23 million. Do you get my point? Eric McCoy, $17 million. Cesar Ruiz, $10 million. That's dead cap money. That means if they're not on your roster, that's how much they count against your cap. You can't trade these players. It costs you more for them not to be on your team than it does for them to be on your team. So you're stuck. You're stuck with all these bad contracts. This is the product of years of doing bad contracts that you can't unload. When you make a bad decision at quarterback and head coach, now you're stuck. You don't have a ripcord. You don't have a safety net. So what's your option? Your option is draft your franchise quarterback this year, let them sit next year behind Derek Carr, and then in 2025, start that player in year 2 and Derek Carr becomes your backup, and then in 26, you off-ramp off of Derek Carr. That's your option. But the Saints aren't going to do it. They're not going to do it. The Saints can, because as an organization, their ethos is, how do we get back to Peyton Breeze? They keep hanging on to it. Mickey Loomis, Pete Carmichael, Dennis Allen, all the ties to what was, instead of thinking, how do we look forward to what could be the next era of Saints football? They keep looking back to say, how do we get back to that? Well, there ain't no time machine. There ain't no time machine. And you have a lieutenant as a head coach, not a general. You've got an aging quarterback that at his best was never good, was never great. Let me say that. Was never elite as at his best, and he's not at his best anymore. And you have aging veteran players on bad contracts. You're stuck. You are stuck in the mud, and you will be for at least 3 more years. It's unfortunate. But anybody could have seen it coming. A lot of you just didn't want to. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. Perhaps if you had had LASIK at the Williamson Eye Center, you could have seen it coming. Radio guy. Call Dr. Blake Williamson over at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020. 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com. It's so easy. Just go for that consultation. Just go meet with Dr. Blake Williamson. Let him go through what your refractive procedure options are. Maybe it's LASIK. Maybe you had LASIK years ago and you're having other issues now. PRK could be a great option. Maybe it's the lens replacement. Maybe you're worried about LASIK. The EVO ICL, that's the implantable contact lens, is an option as well. Ask Dr. Blake about that. no matter your age or your refractive issues, if you want to see 20/20 without contacts or glasses, the Williamson Eye Center can help. Call 924-2020, 924-2020, or go to williamsoneye.com. That's Williamson, EYE.com. Okay, we'll go around the SEC when we come back, get you an update on Georgia Freak Show tight end Brock Bowers. Unfortunately, he's injured and looks like he's going to be on the shelf for a while. Every Thursday, Muse, Paulie, and I give you 3 things we're watching on the football weekend. We come back here on Monday, hold ourselves accountable, take a look at the 3 things we're watching. So we'll get to that a little more than 10 minutes from right now. Peter Burns in about 25 minutes. Shea Dixon in hour 3. A massive recruiting weekend for the LSU Tigers. Straight up at the top of hour 3. Shea will be here. We'll look forward to that. All right, glad you're hanging out. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, we've recently welcomed Glow Resources to the AFR family, and I am so thrilled at the response we've gotten already. By the way, if you're driving down Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, right near Quail Oak to be exact, which is just down the road from Pennington, you'll notice the new Glow Resources corporate headquarters, and let me tell you something. They are going to reshape Perkins Road when you see that building. It is going to be a one of one in the city of Baton Rouge. You're going to love it. At Glow Resources, it's pretty easy. They're not a staffing agency. This isn't a temp staffing agency. Glow Resources represents the client. Every order is specific, and they seek individuals that meet the client's criteria. The other thing that's great about Glow is it's all about, if you're tired of experimenting, it's about servicing you and getting the right person the first time, and they hold themselves accountable as well. It's Glow Resources, GLO, glowresources.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP or 2.9% for 72 months on all new 23 Ram 1500 trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
I'm glad to have you rolling along with us here. You remember last week when Mark Stoops was talking about Georgia buying players? Remember that was on his coach's show on Monday? Ruffled a lot of feathers, man. Ruffled a lot of feathers when Kentucky lost to Georgia, and he went on his radio show and said, obviously, Georgia's bought a lot of players, trying to encourage Kentucky boosters to contribute to their collective, raise some money. Has Missouri been buying a lot of players as well, Mark? Because Missouri whipped your ass too. Runts. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia All-American tight end Brock Bowers will have surgery on his injured left ankle. Bowers is the number 4 draft prospect overall in Mel Kiper's big board. Suffered the high ankle sprain in the first half of the win against Vandy on Saturday, did not return. Georgia expects a full recovery, but a timeline on Bowers' return unclear as of right now. So we'll have that tightrope procedure. Remember, Tua had this back in 2019. Typical recovery time is 4 to 6 weeks. Bowers leads the team in catches, yards, and receiving touchdowns. He's had more than 100 receiving yards in each of the past 3 games. So clearly, this impacts Georgia for the next month or so.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn football got a commitment Monday from 4-star 2025 defensive lineman Jordan Crawford. He's out of Birmingham. Crawford just outside of the top 200 overall in the 247 composite rankings. Also has offers from Alabama and Arkansas, among others. 6 foot, 300-pounder. He was an all-state selection a year ago and 6A in the state of Alabama.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
And Carolina's 2024 recruiting class got a commitment on Sunday evening. Shane Beamer tweeted, "Welcome home" to Jalewis Solomon, now on board with the Gamecocks. He's a former Auburn commitment, decommitted just last week, by the way. He's the number 10 ranked athlete in the country, 6'1", 185, was also considering Florida State and Kentucky. South Carolina's 2024 class grows by 1 now with the addition of the former Auburn commit. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. Proud server, a national leader among Savin dealers, but they will service all makes and models. It's Gulf Coast Office Products, gcopnet.com. Brian Kelly met with reporters on Monday and talked about an awful lot. Very quickly, can we get the updated injury report? Here was BK on Monday updating the injuries, including Emory Jones.
We've got 2 guys that are doubtful for this weekend. That's Emory Jones and Mekhi Wingo. They'll be listed as doubtful. We'll see how they progress during the week. And then Chris Hinton is a probable for this weekend.
He was asked later, by the way, Chris Hinton would be Chris Hilton. I don't know why he keeps saying Hinton. We got to make sure we add that one to it. Just clip that one, add that to the. We got a folder of all the names that Brian Kelly is.
It's in there from.
But I want that one too.
Oh, you want both of them?
Okay. Absolutely.
Okay. Right.
Dump it in there, man. Give me all of them. He was also asked for an update, like on the severity of Emory Jones's injury that he suffered.
Yeah, we think it's an injury that can be managed quite well, and that will have him back. Again, as we look at this, from an injury standpoint, we're always going to be deliberate in making sure these guys are 100% moving forward as we get into the year. But both of them are guys that we feel comfortable they're going to be back at full strength.
So that kind of maps with what I was told. They're hoping to have Emory Jones back for the Alabama game, which would make a lot of sense if they could get him healthy and back in time for that. He doesn't have to play this week against Army. He gets the full week off for the open date, and then you play Bama in Tuscaloosa. So it essentially would be 3 weeks from the injury to the game in Tuscaloosa against Alabama. And if not, the good news for Lance Hurd, who did play early. I mean, got him in the game against Mississippi State, and then they stuck with Emory Jones and Miles Frazier to continue playing better. Emory Jones essentially got to play Lance Hurd got to play the entire game against Auburn because it was the second offensive series where Emory Jones was injured, so Hurd went in, and then he'll get to play the entire game, presumably, against Army as well. So that's a ton of really good reps for Lance Hurd in the event that you need him on the road in Tuscaloosa 2 weeks from Saturday. Real quick, here was Brian Kelly when he was asked how Lance Hurd graded out in the performance against Auburn. Here was Brian Kelly.
Freshman that you can plug and play in an SEC game and not have to worry about fanning to that side, chipping, leaving a tight end in. I believe that's a luxury from my perspective. He went in, played 69 snaps, and had a couple of false start penalties, had a holding penalty, but those are things that you're going to live with a young guy that's going in there. But his poise, his ability to work with the five guys, the communication, really pleased with his play.
And again, remember, in fall camp, we saw some of that rotation where they would put Lance Hurd in at right tackle, kick Emory Jones in to right guard. So it's not like this is the first time we've ever seen this alignment. There's plenty of reps they've already had there in camp and game reps, and now take full advantage of it against Auburn Army in case if you need it against Alabama. All right, it's After Further Review. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. Let me knock out a quick break. Come back. We'll recap our what to watch from the college and pro football weekend. That's next here on AFR.
AFR.
Ooh, temps were in the 40s this morning. Ignore the fact that we have a high in the 80s later this week because right now it's the first taste of fall and there's more cold weather to come. River City's 1 Hour Air can help make sure you get that heater safety check taken care of. Your heater is dormant for months. I mean, we have very few cold weather months in this state. So your heater is dormant. It's collecting dust. It can become hazardous before you crank up your heater. Make sure you've had it cleaned. Make sure it's running efficiently and safely. River City's 1 Hour Air can help. 752-0001, 752-0001. Mention the Moscona special. They'll knock $30 off the price. Always love reading 5-star Google reviews. Here's one from Allison Smith. Darren was very thorough and knowledgeable. He answered lots of questions I had and gave sound answers and suggestions. Another 5-star Google review for River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of Front to Back Boat Service.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Okay, wrapping up hour number one. Every Thursday, Muse, Pauly, and I take a minute. We look ahead at the football weekend, and we give you 3 things we're keeping an eye on. We come back here on Monday, and we'll let you know how they went. Hit it, Muse.
We watched. Now let's review.
All right, Muse, start us off.
Yeah, so we wanted to see if a couple teams could steady their boat. Texas A&M was one of them. They did not. Aggies go to Knoxville. They put up 13 points. Was not a great day for Max Johnson. A couple interceptions. He also was stepped on a critical 4th down and fell down Eli Manning style.
Saw that.
The defense played well. I mean, held Tennessee to 20. Go on the road, hold 20 points, you're going to win. A&M doesn't. Still a trip to Baton Rouge and Oxford on the tally.
Pauly.
I was watching Oregon, Washington, and man, did that game live up to the hype. Bo Nix and Michael Penix threw for over 300 yards. Jump ahead to the 4th quarter. Oregon went for it on 4th down to ice the game. They missed it. Washington gets the ball back, scored the touchdown, 2 plays, no problem.
Why did you get Oregon, Washington, by the way? That's not fair. You got the one that we were all with.
The game of the day.
I know.
And it was really good.
Because Pauly was just the first one in the text chain.
Yeah.
And then
Good game. Hell of a game.
Oregon missed the field goal to send it to overtime.
They did miss a field goal. Kickers. We're keeping an eye on Iowa all year. 15-6, the Hawkeyes won it over Wisconsin. They went on the road to Madtown and did work. Unfortunately, though, the 15 points not going to keep them trending any better. Iowa is now down to 20.9 points per game. That's 116th in the country. If you're wondering why we keep talking about this, Brian Ferentz, the OC, has to average 25 a game to get his, I don't know if he's going to be fired or to get his bonus or whatever it is. But either way, we keep watching Iowa all season long, and the offense is poop.
That under was great, though.
It's poop. I played the under. Shout out Phil Steele.
Notre
How low
Dame.
can you make these unders? It was 35.
I think theirs this week against Minnesota is like 32.5. Notre Dame, could they steady the boat? Yes. Intercepted Caleb Williams 3 times, held him under 200 yards passing, and put up 48 points of their own. Nice day for Sam Hartman. Nice day for Audric Estime. Just a good day for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
I think I told you on Friday I thought Estime was going to run for 6,000 yards in the game.
He came up a little short of that, only 95.
Only a little short of 6,000.
A little short of 6,000.
Hit your other one as well. We got to go quickly. Hit your third.
The big spreads in the NFL, and not many of them were covered. Bills didn't cover. The Eagles lost outright. The Niners lost outright. But shout out to the Rams. They covered their 7 points.
Is that a big spread?
A touchdown. My angle was 7 points or more. They were like 7 spreads.
Pauly, hit your other 2.
I was watching the Justin Jefferson impact with the Vikings.
Oof.
Pretty much, they only scored 1 offensive touchdown by rookie Jordan Addison. Their tight end was their leading receiver, and for what it's worth, the Vikings did win. But
it's because Justin Fields hurt his hand.
Yeah, I would say Justin Fields left the game. And
All
then
right,
my other
hit
one
your
was,
other one. Yeah, sorry.
Lions Bucks. I was basically looking at this for the Saints' perspective, but the Saints didn't help themselves, and the Lions are pretty much running away with the NFC North.
All right, the other 2 that I was looking at, one was the Bungles. Was it Fool's Gold winning in Arizona 34-20? The offense for Joey B and the squad didn't show up at the defense pace today. The Bengals beat the Seahawks 17-13. Don't look now with the Bengals. Our pick, guys. They're right where they were a year ago.
Heading into a bye.
3-3. Yep. They were. And then I was also looking at Jacksonville and Indy for 2 reasons. One, obviously, the Gardner Minshew effect. I thought maybe Indy would be better with Gardner Minshew than they were with Anthony Richardson. They're different style players, obviously, but just a veteran player who started a bunch of games in his career. And then, obviously, would there be a London letdown for Jacksonville after spending 2 weeks in London, then coming back home? The answer was a resounding no. Jacksonville pounded Indy 37-20. So a big win for Jacksonville. before they come to New Orleans on Thursday Night Football. Okay, that's our What to Watch recap every Thursday. Again, we look at Muse, Paul, and I look at 3 storylines in the football weekend. We come back here and recap. And we'll get you our college football takeaways in hour number 3, so we'll get to that. Shea Dixon here to start hour 3 as well, so a little more than an hour from right now. When we come back, our buddy Peter Burns from the SEC Network joins us every Monday on AFR, so we'll look forward to having PB here to get his takeaway from the SEC weekend. But it is after further review. And it was an interesting weekend in the SEC. I think maybe my biggest surprise, I'm not surprised that Tennessee beat A&M. I think a lot of people maybe had that. It was a tough spot for A&M after the Bama game and then going on the road to Knoxville where Tennessee had an open date. The most surprising result, I think, to me, had to be Florida winning in Columbia. And the nature with which they did, as high-scoring a game as that was. So we'll knock out SportsCenter, get a check on national headlines, come back. Peter Burns will join us next.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. I want to remind you about semaglutide. A lot of people have heard about it. It's a medicine that can help with weight loss as well. They have it. People have heard about it. If you're interested, go learn more at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. And remember, if you want to feel younger again, most people think that the fountain of youth is a fallacy and you can never find it. That's not true. Hormone replacement therapy is essentially that. As we age, our body produces less of the hormones that contribute to how we feel. In women, that's menopause. In men, that's andropause. Well, you can safely, affordably supplement yourself to get you to healthy levels, get you feeling younger again. Learn more, again, online at theantiagingclinics.com.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A state trooper who was fired after a 2018 shooting got her record expunged after she was convicted for that shooting. Hear what his lawyers and what the victim has to say about that. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
We have truckloads of inventory rolling in at Corbell Toyota in Opelousas. And you can take advantage of 3.99% financing on select 2023 models. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corbell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. The Rangers off to a hot start in Game 2. Texas looking for a 7th straight postseason win. Out to a 4-0 lead in the first inning. Rangers sending 9 to the plate, stringing together 5 hits against Framber Valdez, also helped by an error. Chance to take a 2-0 series lead, play-by-play on ESPN radio affiliates. NLCS begins tonight. Diamondbacks underdogs against the defending NL champ Phillies. For Arizona to have a chance in the series, they'll have to slow down a high-powered Phillies lineup. Manager Torey Lovullo says that starts with Bryce Harper.
First of all, he's one of the greatest players in baseball, and we know that. We have to recognize the magnitude of every situation and be careful with him, right? Bryce Harper's a different category guy. We got to be very careful, very mindful of where he is in the lineup and what impact he can have, and we respect him ultimately.
Meanwhile, Kim Ng leaving the Marlins, declining the option in her contract after the team intended on hiring a president of baseball operations.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Tuesday, there's a lot of mediocre teams in the NFL, but I'll tell you which one has a chance to turn it around. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Shea Dixon in 1 hour. Massive recruiting weekend for LSU. We'll recap all of it with Shady in 1 hour. Every Monday, we have a pleasure to visit with our friend Peter Burns of the SEC Network.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 11 of the defense, throwing the LSU player's shoe 20 yards down the field.
So descriptive. Peter, how are you, man?
That turned into a good bit. I got to be honest with you. Like, I didn't know. Like, I kind of set it off the fly. Like, hey, just play the highlight of who throws the shoe between LSU and Florida. And it's like the highlight of my Monday every single week. Hello, Mateo. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's one of the things about radio, which is great. You can try things. And if it doesn't work, just never do it again. And then if it does, great. It lives on forever sort of thing, like Musso and Barbie Girl. And we're going to find – did you hear this? We're going to find Musso, the future Mrs. Matthew Musso.
I did not hear this. Like, are we on the dating apps here? Are we like on? Are we on Tinder, Bumble, Raya? What are we working with?
Sconer. So whenever we do the intro, right? And you have everybody's drop. Well, Musso over here has the Barbie Girl drop. Well, someone messaged me and pointed out that Aqua, who sings that song, is coming to the Fillmore in New Orleans, and I was like, Musso, you're going. And then just it was a very random, like, live on-air thing. So what we've settled on, PB, is we're going to set up Musso on a blind date. We're going to get him tickets to the show, transportation, dinner, all that stuff. And, you know, ladies will basically try to enter the contest to win the date. And then I'll get to pick the date, and I'm going to pick Musso's future missus. How about that?
Can we do a panel? Can we do a panel? Does it have to be just you? But
no,
can I be on the
absolutely
the advisory panel?
Yes, come on in.
By the way, I feel like Aqua is at a point in their career where you could probably talk to their PR people and they would put anybody backstage that you want.
Oh, I love this idea. I don't see, but okay, here's the thing. And I really don't know this, so I'm asking legitimately, did the Barbie movie elevate them back into relevancy to where they are big again?
Ooh. Yeah, but I still think they went from like county fair playing to like cruise ship playing, and now they're finally back. But yeah, I mean, listen, good for them.
Okay,
and why not?
Good.
I mean, they created something. They created an iconic song. So I'm in.
You're in. Okay, so PB is on the advisory panel as well. So I need everyone who's listening, start thinking about someone in your life that you may know who would be interested in going on a blind date with Muse, the Aqua concert, dinner in NOLA, transportation, a night with Muse, all that stuff. And, then hopefully it goes great. Hopefully it goes great. Hey, is Jimbo going to get fired?
Hold on. Let's start with the positive. I want to be positive piece today. How about them Tigers? How about
them Tigers?
Huh?
Is Jaden Daniels going to win the Heisman?
I mean, he's the last hope for the SEC, right? I mean, like I thought there were three guys coming into this weekend, right? Obviously, Jaden with the numbers that he was putting up, and he continued to live up to the hype. I mean, listen, he is freaking amazing. Number two was probably Brock Bowers, and of course we saw the news that got broke earlier today, and we've talked about it on our show. Like now he's out for at least 4 to 6 weeks if he comes back and plays. It would not shock me. I mean, I think he will be back, but if he decided, hey, Brock Bowers, like, man, I already got 2 rings, I got an NFL career, I would probably not fault the kid, but I do hope that he plays again, especially against LSU in Atlanta. Yeah. And then third would have been Luther Bird, but he got a little bit banged up and didn't have a monster game as well. So it is honestly just, Jaden, you're our last hope here in this conference.
I'm looking at the DraftKings odds. Michael Penix at -130. Dylan Gabriel, J.J. McCarthy at +1,000, so big gap. Jordan Travis at +1,200. Jaden Daniels +1,400. He's got the 5th best odds right now, PB.
Yeah, but think about like the alley that he has to go through, right? Because I get it. Penix has been unbelievable, and there's probably some love for the Pac-12 because there hasn't been love for them for a while. But the idea is the fact of, can you thread that needle? And that the threading of the needle is easy. It's just winning out. Yeah. And you look at this team right now, can you say that there's a team that's more dangerous in the SEC than LSU? There's no way in hell I can say that. I mean, like, I think there might be better overall teams, and you could probably say that about Georgia if they're a little bit more balanced. But if you need to tell me that there is a team that is just dangerous, if you get them out there on the field, and you're like, bro, they're going to play their A+ game. I don't know if there's a team that could stay with LSU. I think that's what's so frustrating about that loss against Ole Miss.
Yeah. Everything's still there for them if the defense really is improving. But so then let me ask you though, because I do want to follow up though on the A&M Tennessee game.
Sure.
It was a spot where you could say, look, Tennessee's coming off a bye, A&M's coming off a really physical game against Alabama. The spot favored Tennessee. But what was your biggest takeaway of that game Saturday at Neyland?
Honestly, it wasn't really. I mean, A&M was exactly what I thought A&M was going to be, which is a team that can't win on the road and is not aggressive and has, as much as I love Max Johnson, great kid, I think he is an adequate quarterback. I don't think that he's a game-changing quarterback. Everything seems to be like just a touch slow with him, including his wind-up and his delivery. And so I think that's an issue. The biggest takeaway was actually from Tennessee that they're actually a defensive team first, a run team second, and a passing team third. And that has everything to do with Joe Milton right now. Like, Joe Milton is not necessarily a huge attribute for this team in a positive way. And they're winning kind of almost in spite of Milton as opposed to, because of it.
Hey, do you think I heard some people, and this is just where I lean on you, who covers the league as a whole much better. I've heard some rumblings out of Knoxville that they're calling for the freshman, the 5-star kid, Nico. How do you say his last name? Do you know?
Iamaleava.
Say it again?
Iamaleava.
Iamaleava. Is that a legitimate thing where they might actually consider making a change?
You know what the problem is where do you do it? Like, if you were going to do that, you damn sure aren't going to roll him out for his first game. Like, hey kid, you're the starting quarterback against Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember what happened when Ryan Fairley got kicked off the team, and all of a sudden, what was it, Jarrett Lee that got thrown out there out of nowhere, and you're like,
Hatch.
well, that's probably.
Remember Andrew Hatch, the Harvard kid. Then he got a concussion. Then Lee went in.
Yeah, and it's like that probably didn't help his development much. And so I think with Nico, they haven't seen enough of him. Like now, if the schedule was all of a sudden you had Tennessee Martin this week and then Bama, then maybe you're right. Well, let's just try something a little bit different to see if there's a spark. I just don't think that you can at this point. Like I think they just realized, listen, Milton he understands what the checks are. He understands the audibles. We're just a run-first team, and we're going to play really good defense. And that Bama offensive line is, I mean, frankly, the most overrated group outside of maybe Kentucky's wide receivers this year, as far as probably the most disappointing thing that we thought was going to be good on paper, but really wasn't.
Yeah. Peter Burns on Twitter, at Peter Burns ESPN, with us every Monday, courtesy of Blue Delta Jeans. Blue Delta Jeans. So go to Alabama then, PB. They were in such firm control of that game, and it almost felt like watching it, they just kind of fell asleep and left the back door open, and Arkansas was like, hey, we're going to go make a game of this. But, damn, it almost became a thing. Arkansas had the ball at midfield. I mean, they were a first down away from a field goal attempt from Cam Little to tie that thing with like 4 minutes to go. So was it like Bama's really susceptible, or was it, hey, they just kind of they snoozed after they had the big lead?
Yeah, I mean, they had a bad face mask penalty that kind of woke up KJ Jefferson, and when he just threw Terrion Arnold off, I mean, like a rag doll off of him, I'm like, dude, that's just, I mean, that's some Iron Man type stuff from KJ. And I think what I learned in that game is that, listen, Bama is definitely beatable. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And almost the flip side of it, that, you know, people were saying, oh, hey, you know, Sam Pittman's on his way out, and look how bad. Like, this team is still fighting. Like, that's still an Arkansas team that, while they're not very talented, they're playing hard as hell. They're just not very good. So, when teams all of a sudden, you can tell, you know, you've been there, Moscona. Like, you've seen teams quit on a coach because they're like, this ain't just working any longer. In fact, you could say that about Chad Morris in Arkansas beforehand. I didn't see that in Fayetteville. But, yeah, I mean, you need to tell me, I mean, the closing speed of Harold Perkins against that front line, against that front right now of Alabama, you don't think that there's a little bit of a puncher's chance? Absolutely.
Oh, hell yeah. PB, it's not only that. Like, we'll go back to to your point where you started. You don't think Jaden Daniels in this offense is going to go to Tuscaloosa and score 30? I do.
I mean, I look at this during this kind of prism of exactly of 2019 where I go, okay, you're not going to make all of the stops. You just need to be speed bump. You need to have a defensive speed bump. And, I mean, LSU's defense in 2019 obviously got a whole lot better once they got healthy. I just think I'm not sold that LSU will be able to figure out the defensive woes that they've had, but at least now I think they know how to navigate them a little bit better. And this offense is, I mean, it's historic. I mean, that's frankly what it is. And I would have never thought that out of Jaden. When we first saw them, I didn't think that we would see Jaden, but look at the progression of Jaden from year 1 to year 2. Not much different than what Joe Burrow was from year 1 to year 2 as well.
Mettenberger also. And back in 12-13, he went from a very average quarterback in 12 to a 3,000-yard passer, which was only at that time, PB, I think the third in the history of the program.
Yeah, and now you're talking Daniel's the first person in LSU history to throw for 5,000 yards and rush for 1,000. I mean, it's
crazy.
It's impressive, and now you got Nussmeier can sit there and learn and take his time and get ready to take over the reins coming up next year. But I'm telling you that they're as live as anybody right now, and I almost feel again better right now in this position at 2023 than I did at this position in 2022, and that's what you want from a coach is. You know, obviously we'd like to be undefeated or one loss, but is your team getting better year to year? I don't know if you can't disagree with that.
No. Our last thing for you. How in the world did Florida score 41 and Graham Hurts throw for 423 yards?
Buddy, I mean, South Carolina's defense is atrocious.
Okay,
but
it's that
I was
bad.
watching that. I mean, they're that bad. But then I'm watching with Dory, man, and we started watching these plays, and we would like look at the coach's film of it. There's 3 or 4 guys that are open. Like the play calling for Billy Napier, I think that was a chef kiss. Now, again, it helps that it was Gamecocks defense right now, and Florida's defense was atrocious because Spencer Rattler absolutely looked them up as well. But that's a team that's got some wiggle. And I actually, this is crazy to say, I feel more confident against Alabama than I do against Florida this year. As nuts as that is, I understand it. It's Alabama. It's on the road. But the fact that you're playing Florida the week after Bama, it's just, I don't know. There's something about it. I keep bringing it up. I don't feel good about this.
That makes sense. I mean, listen, it's not just who you play, but it's when and where you play them. That absolutely makes sense.
I mean, Nick from today, Saban talked about it this week. He says, I knew our guys were flat all week long in practice because after you go on the road and win a big game, it's hard to get your team back on track. And that's what happened against Arkansas. That's why they look so sloppy.
Yeah, makes sense. Peter Burns is with us, Blue Delta Jeans, BlueDeltaJeans.com, here with us every single Monday. He's on Twitter at Peter Burns, ESPN. Go get you some jeans. Shake what you got in them jeans. That's what you got to do, PB, with Blue Delta.
And you can wear them to the Aqua concert. And where we
now I'm not going, but Muse is going. Muse got to get you some Blue
Delta. You're not going to be a chaperone? Don't cop out. Don't commit to the bit here.
No, he's going on a date.
I don't want him to come on a date.
Yeah, I don't need to.
I don't want that.
I'm with Muse here, PB. I don't need to be on his date. Let him.
Are you a bad wing person?
I know he doesn't need a wingman. He needs to fly solo. This is Amelia Earhart. This is a transatlantic flight solo.
Dude,
he's got to go on his own.
Amelia Earhart died in the Bermuda
understand
Triangle.
that. Well, you got to take some risks in life, PB. And Muse is putting himself out there taking a risk.
Bad analogy or true analogy? Not that far different.
Lindenberg? How about Lindenberg?
Not sensing a lot of confidence from Peter here on this at all.
I think it was Limburg.
Lumberg?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say that. The TPS reports. Okay. All right.
The Initech guy? The young guy? Oh, my God. We just lost 86% of our audience. All right. PB, I appreciate it. Have a great week, man. We'll talk next week.
Later, brother.
Thanks, man. That's Peter Burns of the SEC Network. On Twitter at Peter Burns ESPN. His chats with us every Monday are courtesy of Blue Delta Jeans. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Okay. I got a quick break. We'll come back. Saints are turning the page, take on Jacksonville. We'll get you an update from Doug Peterson on Trevor Lawrence. If you missed it, Trevor Lawrence hurt his knee yesterday in the game against Indy. We'll get you an update next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery with 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Oh, my goodness, it's Pluckers tonight and every Monday, all-you-can-eat wings. I've got a great idea for tonight. How about this? You knock off of work, and you just go straight to Pluckers. Either location, Nicholson just south of campus or Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Maybe you're a student, you get out of class, just go straight to Pluckers. Because every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. So you pay one low price, and you can eat as many wings as you want all night long. Ha! Have 2 meals. Have 3 meals at Pluckers. Tonight, Cowboys, Chargers from L.A., Monday Night Football. Get there early, stay there. You got day baseball on right now. I mean, we got the Rangers and the Astros going down right now. What are you doing? Get by Pluckers. Eat wings, drink beer. It's Pluckers if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us here. Shea Dixon in 40 minutes from right now. Always love having Shea on. It was a massive recruiting weekend for LSU. Tigers picked up 2 commitments and had an insane visitor list headlined by Bryce Underwood. If you're not familiar, Bryce Underwood is a 2025 quarterback. So he's a high school junior, but he's the number 1 quarterback and number 1 player in the country for 2025. It's thought to be an LSU Michigan battle there. So man, you get that kid on campus. I believe it was his 4th or 5th trip already to campus. And, Shea Dixon noted on Twitter on Saturday, if you didn't see it, it wasn't just Underwood. LSU had more than 15 of the top 150 recruits in America on campus Saturday for the LSU-Auburn game, including the number 1 quarterback, the number 1 running back, the number 1 interior offensive lineman, the number 1 linebacker, the number 2 wide receiver, the number 2 offensive tackle, and the number 2 athlete. So consider you had a beautiful day, right? I mean, a Chamber of Commerce weather day, a sellout crowd that was full throat at the start of the game, and then you blow the doors off of Auburn, and you have that crop of recruits sitting there in the recruit section watching all this. Oh, it was a good day, needless to say, for Brian Kelly and the recruiting staff. And they did net 2 commits after the game on Saturday. So we'll get to all that, break it all down. What does it all mean with Shea coming up to start hour number 3? All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us here. We'll get you an update on Trevor Lawrence here in just a second. Quick reminder, TractionSports.com. TractionSports.com. It is camp season, y'all. Remember, holidays are around the corner. So, like we always tell you about with Traction, they have these seasonal camps. So Easter camp and all the holiday camps are just about here. So here you go as we kind of look toward them. Here's the schedule. You've got both infielder camps. You've got the catchers camps as well. You go to TractionSports.com to get the full schedule of all the camps. Pulling it up here for you. Here it is. The holiday camps. You can register now at TractionSports.com. You get the Thanksgiving camp Monday to Wednesday, the week of Thanksgiving. The Christmas camp, December 27th to 29th. They got the New Year's camp from January 3rd to 5th. Ages 5 to 12, full and half-day options are available. So go to TractionSports.com to get more info or to register your son right now. TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. Start thinking. I mean, y'all, we're here. It's October the 16th today. I mean, you're a little more than a month away from Thanksgiving. Like, don't get stuck without room because registration is going to be full by the time we get to the camp. So register today, TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com, Traction, where champions are made. All right, Saints coming off a loss. We're at 3-3. They welcome in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Thursday night football. The Jags are 4-2 after their trip to London, successful trip to London, where they beat the Falcons and Bills 2 weeks overseas. They come home to take on the Indianapolis Colts in Jacksonville, and they blew the doors off the Colts 37-20. Now, quick turnaround for both the Saints and the Jags. Saints at 3-3, Jacksonville at 4-2, but there's a problem for Jacksonville because Trevor Lawrence suffered a knee injury in the game against Indianapolis on Sunday. Doug Peterson on Monday, meeting with the media, gave an update to his starting quarterback.
Is there a sense that he may not play Thursday?
He's day-to-day.
So not going into anything more than to say Trevor Lawrence is day-to-day. For whatever it's worth, the backup in Jacksonville is C.J. Beathard. Remember C.J. Beathard, the former Iowa quarterback who has 9 passing yards on the season. In his career, C.J. Beathard has played in 27 games. He's thrown for 3,500 career yards. He spent 3 seasons in San Francisco. He spent this is his 3rd season now in Jacksonville. So Trevor Lawrence day-to-day, if he's not able to go Thursday with the quick turnaround in New Orleans, it would be C.J. Beathard for Jacksonville. Peterson was also asked, and he was not very wordy. He was not willing to disclose much about a starting quarterback, but asked about Lawrence potentially splitting reps at practice this week.
You know, if Trevor's sore, I mean, we've done this before. We did it last year, you know, where CJ took like the Wednesday reps and then Trevor took the rest of the week, you know, and played in the game. So it's possible that happens.
And remember, because the teams are actually off on Monday, the injury report. So they do issue an injury report, but it's an estimated report considering there wasn't practice. So it's basically say if we had practiced, here's how everything would be designated. I'll run through that in just a quick second, but here was one more from Peterson on the challenges of a short week with the quick turnaround.
It is what it is. You understand that you're going to go through it. You get your team in here today. You got to practice today. You got to practice tomorrow, and then you're on a plane heading to New Orleans. So, you know, guys are going to be sore. Guys are going to be dealing with things. You know, we don't have the full complement of a week for guys to feel somewhat normal. You know, the challenge, the game plan is the game plan. I mean, it's just based on, you know, what you see on film and trying to get something together, you know, for the game and go play.
So, again, it's one. Listen, I'm telling you right now, it's Monday. I'm picking the Saints to win this game on Thursday, regardless of what the situation is with Trevor Lawrence. It is just very hard. You heard Doug Peterson say it. Doug Peterson was a quarterback in this league. It is hard to turn around quickly in the NFL. You play on Sunday, you get an off day Monday, you practice on Tuesday, Wednesday you fly to New Orleans, Thursday you play. That's just not how it's supposed to be in the NFL. You're supposed to have time to recover, to get your rehab, to get your treatment, to install a game plan, to have your walkthrough, to have your full practice, and it's just all sped up. It's just go play is essentially what Thursday is. So when you add in the additional element of having to travel after 2 weeks in London, come home to Jacksonville, your quarterback gets hurt. Now, you know, 3 days later, you're in New Orleans playing a game. It's really tough to overcome. So here is the estimated injury report. It's long for the Saints, and there were 6 players that would have been listed as did not practice. Juwan Johnson, J.T. Gray, Landon Young, the usual suspects. Ryan Ramchik's out with a concussion, and that's super disappointing because it's hard to imagine Ramczyk turning around that quickly with the concussion. And if you saw on Sunday what the Saints elected to do was they put in Nick Saldiveri at guard, and they moved Cesar Ruiz to right tackle. So you're talking about a guy that by trade is a center, but because you had Eric McCoy there when you drafted him, he's been playing guard, and now you're moving him to tackle. He is statistically your worst lineman among your regular starters. And now he's trying to play right tackle in place of Ryan Ramczyk. Demario Davis listed with a knee injury. We'll see if that's serious. That might just be a short week thing. You know, give him time off. Those that were limited, Lonnie Johnson, Cameron Jordan with the back injury, although we saw Cam play. Tyrann Mathieu with the foot injury, Chris Olave with the toe, Andrews Pete with the groin, which kept him out on Sunday. Jamal Williams limited with the hamstring. Derek Carr with the shoulder, and also now a chest injury designation. And then Jake Haener, by the way, can return from suspension this week. So it's unlikely he's active, but if you ever were curious if the Saints would use the emergency third quarterback, Haener, in theory, if he's on the 53, could be your emergency third quarterback. The injury report for Jacksonville decidedly less lengthy. Cornerback, 5 listed as DNPs. Tyson Campbell, Zay Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Walker Little, Brandon Scherf. So those 5, then defensive tackle Devon Hamilton with a back injury. They have him listed as a full participant. So Jacksonville, significantly healthier than New Orleans is at this point in the week. But the big one, obviously, is Trevor Lawrence. And if Trevor Lawrence isn't able to go, it changes the dynamic completely of this game. So we'll keep you posted. It's basically it's an off day today. It's a practice day on Tuesday. For the Saints, you'll practice at home on Wednesday with your walkthrough, and you'll play on Thursday. For Jacksonville, off today. You practice Tuesday. You travel on Wednesday. You play on Thursday. So quick week, quick turnaround for Thursday Night Football. See if the Saints can climb back above 500 with a win on Thursday. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. They're on Airline Highway in Baton Rouge. For our friends in Lafayette, if you're listening on ESPN 1037 Lafayette or ESPN 1041 Lake Charles, remember Southwest Volkswagen, same great ownership group, just located there for you in Southwest Louisiana. It's South Point Volkswagen. If you go to the website, you can hit that new vehicles tab right there at the top and search all of their inventory. And remember, you're not going to see factory stock photos. You're going to see photos of the actual vehicle that's on the lot right there at South Point Volkswagen. Like there's a beautiful brand new 2024 Atlas. You can work out your financing. You could build your deal. You can reserve a vehicle that's in transit. Make sure you get to the website, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Been a good show, man. We're halfway home and glad you're hanging out with us here. Shea Dixon in 30 minutes. When we come back, got some updated bowl projections for LSU. And I got a question on Twitter about Jaden Daniels and the Heisman. We talked about it a bit ago with Peter Burns. I did ask Brian Kelly about that today because a lot of you are asking, and I want to go through what I think is realistic. So we'll get into some of that, much more from what Brian Kelly had to say, recapping Auburn, looking ahead to Army as we get through the rest of the afternoon. And Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks at the end of Hour 3. We'll see if we get a pick on Monday Night Football. All right, y'all. We're glad you're with us. Quick break. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, 2 amazing hotel properties in Baton Rouge. We've been telling you about the tequila dinner at the Gregory, the restaurant in the Watermark, but the registration for that, the ticket sales for that closed today at noon. So keep in mind, if you're interested in a lot of these events, these nighttime events going on around the Watermark and the Renaissance, when we tell you about them, make sure you get your tickets, you reserve your spot. This is going to be really cool. The Renaissance is doing a tasting event with Noel Family Distillery, which I know T-Bob endorses Noel in the mornings, and boy, they've really got some great spirits. But it's coming up on. Forgive me. I'm sorry. Forgive me. That already passed. My bad. So my point is, you missed it. But if you want to try Noel spirits, you can at the bar there at Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel. The Renaissance right there on Bluebonnet, the Watermark in downtown Baton Rouge. 2 great properties in Baton Rouge. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP or 2.9% for 72 months on all new 23 Ram 1500 trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
The
best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
I had a question on Twitter from Harley. Harley Doucette said, Matt, do you think Jaden has a legitimate shot to win the Heisman? Yes, I do. I'll go into how I think that it could happen, but I did ask Brian Kelly today. I candidly, I didn't word the question well. I asked him how he, in the past, has handled situations when he's had Heisman candidates on his team. Most notably was back in 2012 when Manti Te'o was the runner-up. Of course, we all remember the Manti Te'o, Lene Kekua saga as that all went on. But Te'o had a great year on a Notre Dame team that went undefeated and played for the national championship, got blown out by Alabama. But he was the Heisman runner-up in 2012 to Johnny Manziel. But what I'd intended to ask Brian Kelly was more like, should you lobby for your players? Like, is it important to lobby and to have a campaign sort of around your player? But that's not specifically how I asked it. What I asked is how he's handled the Heisman situation when he's had guys on the roster in the past, and this is how he answered it.
The Heisman has become such a promotional piece and the flavor of the week that what I try to tell our guys that I've had involved in the Heisman is, look, you're not going to have control over this other than being consistent at what you do. So every day your focus isn't about what they think about the Heisman, because they're going to have opinions that range from one side to the other. Your focus is consistency and performance. If your performance is consistent week in and week out, then it's going to take care of itself. Other than that, they're going to say, well, you're not playing well enough on defense, which has nothing to do with the Heisman. If that was the case, they should have, not given the Heisman to Caleb last year. They lost to Tulane, but they gave him the Heisman.
Of course, he had the Heisman before they lost the bowl game, but he did win the Heisman the week after they lost the Pac-12 championship game to Utah. But that's why I think there is a realistic possibility for Jaden Daniels to win the Heisman. So just very quickly, sort of to sort of clear the deck. I know there's a lot of LSU fans that are concerned, upset, disappointed, whatever the adjective may be, that Jaden isn't being more prominently mentioned. I really don't mind much if media member A is putting out his top 5 Heisman, whatever, and Jaden's not on it. I don't care. What I care more about is what's working with the Heisman odds. And last week when we were here, and I was talking a little bit about this, I think the most important part that we talked about was, look, all the guys that are ahead of Jaden Daniels, they're going to lose. So those guys are going to regress. If LSU keeps winning and Jaden keeps playing at this level, he's going to continue to climb. They took their 2 lumps already. So look at the updated odds from DraftKings today. Michael Penix at -130. Of course, Washington beat Oregon, so Bo Nix, boom. Bo Nix, plummeted. I'm looking for Bo Nix's updated odds. Bo Nix is, man, I don't even see him. Where is he? Where is it? I don't even see Bo Nix's odds right now. Anyway, there it is, +2,000. Bo Nix is +2,000. My apologies. So Bo Nix and Caleb Williams both lost this week. So both of them have seen their odds drop below Jaden Daniels. Michael Penix at -130. Washington beat Oregon. He has the best odds right now. J.J. McCarthy, the quarterback of Michigan, and Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback of Oklahoma, are second at +1,000. Now, neither of those guys, I don't believe, are going to see numbers like Jaden Daniels, and I think Oklahoma is going to lose. Don't know about Michigan. Michigan's going to play Ohio State, so we'll see. And then Jordan Travis is the only other one ahead of Jaden Daniels. Now, Travis's numbers aren't going to rival Jaden's at this rate, but they did beat LSU head-to-head, and they're undefeated. I also think Florida State will lose. So when Florida State loses and Jordan Travis's numbers aren't there, he'll drop. So really, the question is, does Michael Penix throw up a stinker somewhere? If Washington loses a game or two somewhere along the way, which is possible because the Pac-12 is really good, and Penix has a rough go, they'll drop. But the key in all of this, the only way it's even possible for Jaden, and look, we're more than halfway through the season, and we're having this legitimate conversation. The only way it's even possible is if Jaden Daniels maintains this pace. Right? Jaden right now is 3rd nationally in passing offense. He's behind Shadur Sanders, who's 1, and Michael Penix, who's 2. And Jaden is 7 yards behind Penix. 7 yards. So they're what and what. The difference is Penix is a quarterback of an undefeated team. Got it. If you're looking at the losses and saying, well, that's going to keep him from winning it, you might be right. That may be the thing. But what I'll continue to illustrate are the players in recent history, players, plural, that have been on teams that didn't make the playoff and that had lost multiple games, but their quarterback won the Heisman, and you can look for similarities. The last time it happened was Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson won the Heisman in 2016. He threw for 3,500 yards and 30 touchdowns, but he ran for 1,571. So he threw for 35 and ran for 15. It was otherworldly because he was a quarterback that ran for 1,500 yards and threw for 3,500. Johnny Manziel in 2012 threw for 3,700, so threw for more yardage than Lamar did and ran for 1,410. So Johnny threw for about 200 more yards but ran for about 200 less than Lamar, but their stats are very similar. Lamar's team was 9-3, Johnny's team was 10-2. And then the one that's probably the best comp for Jaden Daniels is RG3. RG3 at Baylor in 2011 threw for 4,293 yards, which is right where Jaden is pacing. Now, keep in mind that 4,293 for RG3, that includes the bowl stats. Right now, Jaden is pacing for 4,000 yards in the regular season. And RG3 ran for 699. So Jaden should pass RG3's rushing total at Alabama, quite honestly. Jaden's bumping up on 600 rushing yards right now. So with Army and then Bama, he should surpass that rushing total with 3 games still to play. So Jaden's going to push closer to 1,000. He's not going to get where Lamar was or where Johnny was at 1,400 or 1,500 yards, but Jaden's going to run for about 900 yards, maybe push near 1,000, provided he stays healthy and all that stuff. So if Jaden Daniels throws for 4,000 yards and runs for 900 yards and accounts for roughly 40-plus touchdowns, he will have a seat in New York City. That's just if Jaden Daniels, as the LSU quarterback, throws for 4,000 yards, leads the country in passing, and runs for another 800-900 yards, Jaden Daniels will be in Manhattan at the Heisman ceremony, regardless of the win-loss record. He will be at the ceremony with those statistics. For him to actually have a chance to win the award, he's got to win out. You got to go win at Alabama and be a 10-2 football team, and then you see what happens in the SEC championship game. It would certainly help. Now, look, if Michael Penix, if Washington goes undefeated and Penix throws for 4,500 yards, he's going to win it, period. But I don't think that's going to happen. I also don't think Florida State's going undefeated. I think Jordan Travis will regress. So you're going to have your opportunity if you're Jade. Is it possible? Absolutely. I'm not telling you it's likely. I'm not telling you it's probable. I'm telling you it's possible. There is a roadmap to do it. If he just stays with his averages, he'll throw for 4,000 yards, he'll run for just under 1,000 yards, or he'll account for more than 40 touchdowns, and he'll be in New York. And if you're 10-2, going to play Georgia in the SEC championship game, and if you happen to win that game, then he'll win the Heisman Trophy. And right now, odds makers are telling you that. I mean, they've got Jaden at plus 1,400. It's the 5th best odds right now. He's a smidge behind Jordan Travis, who's a quarterback of an undefeated team right now. So, yeah, I mean, he's got a shot. He has a real shot. Okay, it's after further review. Let me knock out our final break of hour number 2. We'll do Tigers and the Pros when we come back, and Shea Dixon here in 13 minutes from right now, recapping a big recruiting weekend for the Tigers. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. Also, I want to remind you about GordonGives.com. We always talk about how Gordon is, if you've been injured in an accident and you need representation, Gordon's been helping injured people in our state for 30 years. More than 75,000 cases handled, more than $2 billion recovered for their clients. But at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, it's so much more than that. Gordon always talks about how he's been so blessed, and he really sees it as his duty to pay that forward and give back to our community. NIL is one way that he's doing that. The Grubbin with G series is up there if you want to see interviews with guys like Malik Neighbors and Harold Perkins. And remember, all throughout the year, every game day, they have their autographed football giveaway. So it's purple and gold footballs autographed by members of the G team, guys like Greg Brooks and Harold Perkins and Garrett Nussmeier. You want to enter, just go to GordonGives.com. GordonGives.com. You'll see it right there. GordonGives.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Love telling you about Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Appreciate them so much. Brandon, Holly, and the gang. Been great partners of ours for, almost a decade now. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. All right, Muso. Tigers in the pros. Oh, look, Brady's batting.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Let me give you a little Jimmy Ott live play-by-play of a game going on, even though that's technically illegal to do.
Sure,
Alex,
why
for a
not?
little live
Why
Tigers
not?
in the pros, Muse. Alex Bregman at the plate. 0 for 1 on the day. He's got a 1-2 count.
Yeah. And
fouled off to the right side.
Ah, man. You know, last night he was 1 out of 4 and almost in the 8th inning hit the game-tying home run. I mean, Aroldis Chapman almost had another Aroldis Chapman moment in the 8th inning in Minute Maid Park, but unfortunately it was caught and ended up in a double play. So just the one hit for Bregman at the plate now, as Matt said, 1-2 count.
Wind up in the pitch. Bregman, deep drive down the right field line. If
No
it's fair,
way.
it's gone. It is gone! Alex Bregman with the solo bomb into the Crawford box.
How about that?
And the Astros pull within 5-2.
How about that?
How about that, Muse?
That's great timing.
Drama.
I like that.
You know what? Sometimes you're highly favored. You're blessed
There you
and
go.
highly favored.
Yeah.
What can I say? The light is shining upon this show.
We will.
We just called an Alex Bregman homer live on the air.
We did.
Someone hire me.
AFR
How about
Mojo.
it?
There you go.
Now that is
Yeah,
true.
there you
The
go.
AFR
See?
Mojo for Bregman. I
Yeah.
need to clip that and send it to him.
There you go. You do. We'll keep you updated.
He would it was off the foul pole. Couldn't see
so
that real
almost
time.
didn't get, yeah.
And then Kyle Tucker just popped up on the
Well, you know. They're down 5-2 for a reason. We'll keep you updated on Bregman's day tomorrow. We'll finish the rest of that out. NFL action yesterday. Patrick Queen, really solid day for the Ravens. 9 tackles to lead the team, including a sack for PQ. That sack, if you're wondering, was number 3.5 on the season. Speaking of sacks, Danielle Hunter, my goodness, this guy, he's incredible. 2 of them yesterday to go along with 7 tackles.
Oh, 2 sacks yesterday?
Yep.
That's more than he had in 3 years at LSU.
And it just hurts every time you say it. That brings his total to 8 on the season so far in 6 games. That's pretty good. Joe Burrow, 185 yards passing, 2 touchdowns in that ball game. 80 of those yards went to Jamar Chase off of 6 receptions. And then on the defensive side for the Seahawks, Jamal Adams with 4 tackles in that ball game. We'll wrap it up here quickly with the Panthers and the Dolphins because you had a couple of performances on the defensive side of the ball. Deion Jones, 3 tackles for Carolina, as well Dante Jackson with 4. And Duke Riley with 3 for the Dolphins. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. That's LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Buddy Scott Berg over at Lee Michaels just got back from a trip overseas sourcing the best diamonds in the world. Gentlemen, if you are thinking about popping the question, my goodness, think no further than Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge and all of Louisiana goes to get engaged. LMFJ.com. All right, hour number 3 coming up right after SportsCenter.
AFR.
Mold Zero is now Pure Restoration. Same company, same great patented non-toxic dry fog treatment, same great people, new name with an expanded menu of services. Of course, if you have mold or think you might have mold, Pure Restoration can knock it out. But now they are licensed general contractors and they can handle not only your mold remediation, but all of your demo and build back if you need it for mold, water intrusion, storm damage. Maybe you have a busted pipe. Maybe there's a flood or hail damage. Pure Restoration can help. Pure-restoration.com. Pure-restoration.com. You go to the website, see the difference between a dry fog and a wet fog. Essentially, a wet fog would be like if it rained in your house. That's not good. Pure Restoration. Pure-restoration.com. Hospitals, universities, schools, gyms, police departments, city halls, your home, it's Pure Restoration.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A state trooper who was fired after a 2018 shooting got her record expunged after she was convicted for that shooting. Hear what his lawyers and what the victim has to say about that. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. Rangers looking to take a 2-0 series lead over the Astros on top 5-2 in the fourth. Rangers scored 4 in the first, knocked out Framber Valdez in the third. Astros responding with homers from Yordan Alvarez and Alex Bregman, play-by-play on ESPN Radio. Affiliates in the NFL, Niners banged up in their loss to the Browns. Running back Christian McCaffrey left with an oblique injury, undergoing an MRI. Deebo Samuel day-to-day with a shoulder injury that kept him out of the second half. First loss of the season for San Francisco. First loss for Brock Purdy as a starter. Rough day at the office, but Joe Fortenbaugh isn't all that concerned.
Purdy playing terrible football, no surprise. That was going to happen at some point. I mean, the run he was on, he went from last pick in the draft to MVP frontrunner. Like, what, were we expecting there wouldn't be one game where it fell apart?
Fortenbaugh on Carlin versus Joe. Justin Fields doubtful for Week 7 with a dislocated thumb. Fields reportedly having trouble gripping the ball after hurting his hand yesterday.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Tuesday, there's a lot of mediocre teams in the NFL, but I'll tell you which one has a chance to turn it around. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers had a massive recruiting weekend. Not only did they land 2 commits, but they had an impressive visitor list. Our buddy Shay Dixon from On 3, the Bengal Tiger, good enough to join us for a couple minutes to recap all of it. Shady, how are you, man?
Not good now. You said it was quitting time, and you're making me still work.
Well, it's football season, brother. There is no downtime. It never stops. The grind never stops in these parts. Hey, let's start with the 2 commitments, and then we'll go into the recruiting weekend, who is here and what it all means. C.J. Jackson, this is a former Georgia Tech commit who decommitted and now picked the Tigers. Tell us about him.
Yeah, this is a guy who's from Georgia, so there was the Georgia Tech connection. But don't think, okay, Georgia Tech commit. Come on, Brian Kelly, you got to do better than that. This is a kid who we have it on 3 ranked as a top 100 player, knocking on the door of top 50, and the number 7 edge rusher in the country. So this is a big, big deal, and everyone will remember they chased Colin Simmons heavily through the spring and the summer. He's the 5-star. Edge rusher who ended up committing to Texas over LSU, while his teammate Caden Durham, the running back, picked LSU. His other teammate, DeCorian Moore, who is a 5-star wide receiver for next year, picked LSU, but Simmons picked the Longhorns. And at that time, everyone said, okay, they kind of felt like they went all in on Simmons. What happens now? Who's your backup plan? And it turns out it wasn't much of a backup plan. It was kind of someone who they had planned on all along, and C.J. Jackson, who had visited in the spring. He had taken an official visit in the summer, and when he committed to Georgia Tech, which his mom is big on academics. It kept him close to home. He said, look, LSU is one of two teams that just never quit calling me. And that showed that they knew that no matter which way it went with Colin Simmons, they wanted to see if they could stay involved with C.J. Jackson. He reopened his recruitment last week. So to get him on campus immediately and then get him committed before he left campus was a big deal. And it didn't happen on a whim. Like I said, they've been recruiting him heavily for a year now, and he's made 3 to 4 trips to campus. He's very familiar. He's already got an official visit in his in the books to LSU. So he knows the program. He knows the ins and outs. This is a big deal. This will be one of their highest ranked commits when everything's said and done.
Right now, See On 3 has him as, is this right number, or is this the composite, 188 overall?
That'd be the composite, right?
Yeah.
I think On 3's got him in the 70s or something like that, 60, 70 overall. Something
yeah,
like that
here it is. Here it is, 64 overall, number 7 at his position, number 10 in the state of Georgia, C.J. Jackson. So edge, would he be that big end, or would he be the jack linebacker?
So that's we rank edges as jack linebackers often, and then DNs as D linemen. And some DNs can kind of fall, like for instance, Deshaun Womack was ranked as an edge. Well, he's big enough now to where he's playing DN for LSU. So it can be a combo. It could be someone who plays jack linebacker or plays that Savion Jones DN position.
Got it. Let's talk about the other commit, Teron Francis. He's a wide receiver for 2025, and that's an in-state kid. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, he's coming out of Carr for next year. And they call him at Carr and around New Orleans man-child, and he is all of 6'1", 6'2", 200 as a junior in high school. And you don't go running around at Carr and St. Aug and Warren Easton and pick up a name like man-child and it not be for a reason. This is going to be one of the best receivers nationally. He debuted today on 3. And again, this is a mid-season update for next year's class. He didn't have a ranking before. Automatic 4-star, automatically in the top 300. So he's highly thought of by not just LSU, but the recruiting services. And Frank Wilson and staff got him in this weekend. And gosh, they had a lot of Carr guys there with Bryce Brown, their head coach, and get him on board. And Matt, they've got three guys right now on the roster from Carr. They've got now a commitment for next year. And you even looked at the future, 2026, guys who are sophomores. They already have 2 offers out, Richard Anderson and Aiden Hall, a D lineman and a safety, who are nationally ranked. So keeping that Carr pipeline and those pipelines to those big New Orleans schools open with guys like Frank Wilson and Cortez Hankton, who both are St. Aug grads and grew up in New Orleans, is massive. We know that. We've seen so many kids come out of those areas over all the years, and a lot of people are high on Teron Francis. And I know some people say, hey, I can only focus on one recruiting class at once, and I can't deal with juniors. Well, I'll just give you the small tidbit that now for these juniors, LSU has 2 commitments in at receiver, one being a 5-star, the other being Teron Francis, who's the number 1 receiver in Louisiana for next year. So I'd say they're off to a pretty good start.
Shay Dixon's with us on Twitter at Shay Dixon. Shay, I want to talk about the recruiting weekend here in a second, but one more just sort of big picture. Now a little more than a year in for Brian Kelly, I guess almost 2 years, a year and a half in for Brian Kelly. Have you noticed any sort of evolution of the recruiting style or approach with respect to the state?
Yes, I have. I think that they see, and this is what's called in LSU's eyes, right? In the eyes of you're recruiting the heavy hitters, the top-ranked guys. This would be a down year in the state. So to give you an example, they have 7 guys right now in the On3 top 300 who are from Louisiana. We did our update today for the juniors, so they have 7 seniors who are top 300 nationally. The junior class already has double-digit, and they're just midway through their junior season, so that number is going to grow even more. Usually they average about 12, 13, 14, so they prioritize Louisiana. I think did a really good job of evaluating guys who are high 3 stars, and we've seen those types develop time and again at LSU. I can't tell you how many times, or I guess I could go through the whole list, but who do they add at the end? Russell Gage, Foster Morrow, Duke Riley, Lloyd Cushenberry, guys who weren't highly ranked coming out, were maybe some of your final offers as seniors, and they end up multi-year starters who play in the NFL. So I think that, or I know from kind of how I've seen them recruit, that Brian Kelly is prioritizing Louisiana and then understanding, which I think is the correct approach, that you can go to Texas, you can go to Mississippi, you can go into Georgia. Obviously, you could dip into Bama and recruit, or Florida and recruit these guys. You don't have to fly all over the country to address every position. Now, yes, you're going to recruit nationally. Yes, you're going to try to get a couple of guys here and there. But the base of it being Louisiana and its border states, I think that that's the approach they're going with. And I've said it time and again, not only by the numbers is that the right approach, but now that you're in the transfer portal area, getting guys who are from around here, they're going to be more likely to stay on roster if they're not playing right away because they're not a million miles from home.
Yeah. It's a great point. He's on Twitter at Shea Dixon from On3, the Bengal Tiger. All right, Shea, I saw your tweet, and I was actually listening to you and Hanny on Eagle 98.1 Game Day on the pregame show, and you were running through a massively impressive list of visitors that were on campus this weekend. Can you, first of all, before we go into some details, can you just give us some context on who was here this past weekend for the Auburn game?
Yeah, they had more than 15 guys who are ranked in the top 150 were on campus. So that is a massive, massive number. But it wasn't just that. It was a lot of players who are the number one player at their position. And I don't think it gets any bigger than Bryce Underwood, right? The number one overall prospect in the country for next year, a quarterback coming out of Michigan who has not named any Final Two or anything, but most believe it to be LSU versus the in-state Wolverines. And I've kind of drawn it up to make people understand who aren't diehard recruiting fans, but follow LSU football, what a commitment like that would mean. It would be the highest ranked out-of-state guy they've gotten since a Russell Shepard or a Patrick Peterson. And he's viewed as maybe the best quarterback prospect to come out in the past 5 to 10 years, up there with Caleb Williams and maybe above it midway through his junior year. Absolutely phenomenal player. And you get a guy like that, and the dominoes just start falling with other guys who want to be a part of it. And I can tell you, LSU is very much in the mix of this one going into the season. Yes, Michigan's undefeated. Yes, Michigan's firmly in the playoff race and all that jazz. And yes, LSU's lost 2 games. But LSU's got the number one total offense in the country right now. And Jaden Daniels is arguably the best quarterback in the country right now. And I think a lot of people down here would make that argument, that he is indeed the best football quarterback in the country at the college level right now. Those things stand out to Bryce Underwood, and he's going to make his decision here in January. So what LSU's doing on the field this season is a very, very big deal in that recruitment. I think I can tell you this. I don't know where he's going, but they've got Michigan, the in-state team, sweating here because 4 visits in 6 months with your whole family every time shows some very sincere interest.
Shea, what about the other prospects that were on campus this weekend of note?
Yeah, well, they had 3 Texas A&M commitments there, which kind of grabbed the attention of a lot of people as Texas A&M has some back-to-back losses, and these were kids that picked A&M over LSU, and LSU was kind of the second-place team there. Gabe Relaford coming out of Evangels, one we talked a lot about as a D lineman, he made his second visit to a game down at Tiger Stadium this year, and they haven't had many, 4 home games, so getting him back was big. Draylon Miller, a receiver who's coming out of Texas, East Texas, is a guy that picked A&M over LSU. Cortez Hankton, the receivers coach, went to college with his father, so they've had a good relationship. They get him back to campus, and there's some growing buzz that, hey, might be a chance LSU could flip him into the class. He's a top 150 prospect. And then the other one is 5-star Terry Bussey, who might have been the biggest surprise because he committed to A&M 2 weeks ago and suddenly was back on LSU's campus for a visit. He's the number 1 athlete in the country, but could play safety probably at the college levels where most teams like him at. I don't know if any of them flip. I don't know if all of them flip. I would say that I bet by signing day at least one of those guys ends up in LSU's class. And look, if A&M's real, and I say it on your show all the time, 1 loss doesn't mean anything to kids because every high school kid, most of them lose a game, lose a couple of games. They get it. Usually they just think like any athlete. We gave it away. They didn't beat us. But when it's year over year, like it is right now at Texas A&M, that you fall short of expectations, you can have all the NIL money in the world. These kids want to win. And if you're not in that position in year 6 with Jimbo, it's going to affect your class at some point. And if there comes that blood in the water moment, or if they're already there, I can promise you teams like Texas and LSU who are recruiting those same kids are all over them. So to see those three guys come in, all Texas A&M commits, on a day when LSU sells out the stadium and wins by 30 and A&M loses again is noteworthy.
All right, Shay, last thing for you. I always like to ask about the recruiting calendar and what's next. Tigers have another home game this weekend, but give us a sense, just big picture of what to keep an eye on that's coming up here.
We're actually going to have some guys in for the Army game. I think it'll be another pretty nice visitor weekend, so that will be something to keep an eye on. Then they'll have the bye week, which will actually give them a chance to go on the road. So when teams are on bye in season, they'll go on the road and watch kids play on Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, whatever night your high school game is. And they can do some in-person evaluations or at least show face, whatever it might be. And Brian Kelly, like last year, kind of reserves that for the bye week, as most teams do. So those will be big. Then you go to Bama, and then it's 3 straight home games. That gives them an opportunity to host a number of more big visit weekends before you get to the end of November and into December, and you're only a couple of weeks away from the early signing period. So this is I like for LSU how this sets up on the back end. They've got the number 6 class in the country right now. They've got 25 commits. Those are both great numbers. And you still got guys left out on the board. So with 4 home games left to go, I think that LSU sits in a pretty good spot.
He is Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. He's on Twitter at Shea Dixon. Again, on Twitter at Shea Dixon. Shea, we always appreciate it, man. Thanks for a couple of minutes.
Thanks so much, Matt.
All right, man. Be well. It is After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Thanks to Shea. We'll knock out a quick break. We'll pivot back to Saints here in a minute because 3 of the really prominent veterans on the Saints team all had some concerning things to say after Sunday's loss to Houston. We'll get to our college football takeaways and Monday Night Football preview, Otter Locks. Ton to do here in hour number 3, and glad you're hanging out on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Buy local, shop local over at Clegg's Nursery. And coming up this Saturday at the Segan location, it is the Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree. It's a great event that they do every year at Clegg's. Again, it's the Segan location, just as a reminder, Segan location only, and it's this Saturday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So when you buy a BRG-approved tree, Clegg's will donate to Baton Rouge Green. You can ask their tree experts questions. You can stock up for tree planting season. They'll have native and rare species. It's all going down this Saturday at the Clegg's on Segan. It's the Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree at Clegg's on Segan Saturday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So set a reminder, mark your calendar, make plans to be there. It's a great event. Every single year they do this. One day only at Clegg's on Segan.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP or 2.9% for 72 months on all new 23 Ram 1500 trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Just a quick reminder, this Saturday after the LSU Army game, our friend, Walk-Ons always has their big tent party post-game, band live and all that sort of stuff. This Saturday, the Drew Danzy Band is going to be performing after LSU Army, and all of the ticket sales are going to go benefit the Greg Brooks Victory Fund. Here at 104.5 ESPN in Baton Rouge, we're really thrilled to be partnered with Walk-Ons for this. And thanks to the sponsors, Central Plumbing and HUDCO Roofing. So basically, Central Plumbing and HUDCO came together to essentially cover all the costs. So that way 100% of the money from the ticket sales will go to the Greg Brooks Victory Fund. So I know I can speak on behalf of HUDCO. We're thrilled to do it. I'm sure Central Plumbing is as well. Jay Payne and the folks at Central Plumbing have been great partners of ours here on the station for a lot of years with the guys in the morning and anyway, and certainly supporters of the Tigers. So we're thrilled to be able to do that and to be able to promote it all week. So if you're going to be at the LSU Army game or look for something to do after, keep in mind that all the tickets sold, like 100% of the money's generated from ticket sales for the post-game concert with the Drew Danzy Band, the original Walk-Ons of Burbank after LSU Army. It's all going to the Greg Brooks Victory Fund. So Brian Kelly said last week they've already raised more than $100,000, which is awesome. Hopefully we could put up another number similar to that with the tickets sold for this weekend. So as a heads up there. Okay. It's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here on this Monday edition of AFR. Saints took it on the chin, and listen, I haven't held back. I mean, everybody knows how I feel at this point. Like, let me rephrase. You shouldn't have any questions about how I feel at this point, because what we've seen through 6 weeks has only validated the feelings I had coming into this season, that the Saints are stuck in this sort of perpetual mediocrity mode. You've got to, and by the way, I just would like to say first, like, this isn't a personal commentary. It's not an attack on Dennis Allen or Pete Carmichael or Mickey Loomis or anybody. By all accounts, these are very good people who have worked hard and done a lot of good for this organization. There can be coexisting truths. You can acknowledge that these are good people who have worked hard and done really good things for the organization in different roles, but as it exists right now, the structure you have right now, you are not winning, and you're not going to turn this around. It's just a thing that's very obvious to see. And it's maybe most disappointing for your veteran players, guys like Cam Jordan, DeMario Davis, who are nearing the end of their career, who realize that window is closing, and you can hear that urgency. Game ended on Sunday. The Saints lose to the Texans 20-13. You put up 13 measly points. Your defense got pushed around in the first half, but really played well in the second half. And Dennis Allen spoke, and then Derek Carr spoke, and then Cam Jordan goes to the podium. And, like, the first question out the chute was, like, how do you feel? And Cam Jordan was pretty blunt.
There's only one way to feel like we got to get this shit together. First half, we gave them back momentum. You can't let a team that you feel like you're imposing your will upon, can't let them get will back. Gave them confidence, and you saw confidence then put 17 points on in that first half, another 3 points in the second half, gave them 20 points altogether, which was more points than we put up on the board. So, how do I feel? It sucks to lose. It's frustrating to lose when we have the talent to affect the quarterback. We knew he had, up to this point, the fastest release of quarterback, so it was going to be frustrating to pass rush after him, but we collapsed the pocket, got him to escape, and you saw the throws that we wanted to get out of him. At the end of the day, we didn't do enough to get a win.
2 sacks, 6 TFLs, 3 passes deflected, just 3 quarterback hits on C.J. Stroud. You did the first interception, but listen to, like, the way Cam said it at the beginning. It's like, it sucks to lose. We got to get this bleep together. I mean, he understands. Like, he's a guy that isn't going to be in this league forever, and you can't, like, every year that passes, that window closes. And the unfortunate thing, I think, is for the people inside that building, they feel like that window is still open. Like, for us, outside looking in, it's like, man, that window is closed, and y'all are still just like, you're like tapping on the window, hoping they open again. And my point has continuously been, no, like, go find a new point of entry. Stop trying to go into this window because it's closed. Listen, Alvin Kamara was talking to the media after the game as well. And, like, he kind of alluded to, like deeper, listen to the couple. I read this as, like, deeper cultural issues. Give a listen.
I think DeMario said it best in the when we came in the locker room. I don't know what a lot of guys are doing. I don't know what anybody but me is doing, right, preparation-wise. But to play this game at the level that we want to play it, it takes a lot of sacrifice. And I know personally I sacrifice a lot. Personally, family time, personal time. During this time, you can't do everything you want to do, right? So it's a lot of sacrifice that goes into it, and to not be able to reap the reward of preparation. It's annoying. I don't like it. It's not a fun feeling. And again, I'll circle back to what DeMario said. I don't know what everybody else is doing to prepare, but there's a certain type of sacrifice that you have to make to be able to come out here and play at a certain level, at an elite level. So I just hope everybody's doing that. We just need to find a way to win.
Frustrating, annoying. I mean, we need to find a way to win. It sucks to lose. Listen to what he's saying. And when you're sitting there talking about, are guys doing what they're supposed to be doing, that's the bigger concern. Cam and Kamara and DeMario, these are captains on the team. These are your veteran leaders. And you heard Alvin say it there. DeMario said it when we came in the locker room. Everybody's got to be doing what they're supposed to be doing. Well, DeMario Davis was asked Monday by Kat Terrell about those comments and if there is accountability on this team. Give a listen.
Yeah, we got a good group, and I feel like that's why we can have messages and things like that. Whenever we talk to one another, we can do that because we've proven that we're an accountable unit all the way around. We got great leadership in the locker room. Got some really good young guys who are hungry to learn and grow.
We've had this conversation so many times over the years, and I hate to do the revisionist history thing, but I guess it's not revisionist history, it's just history. When Sean Payton was hired, one of the first things he did was he just cut bait with entitled veteran players. By the way, real quick, I'm not saying these are entitled veteran players. I'm painting a picture. I remember the stories about like Wayne Gandy. Wayne Gandy had like a leather recliner in his locker room, by his locker, and Dante Stallworth was a former first-round pick, and Peyton came in, and there were these veteran guys that just didn't buy in, so they cut him. They got rid of the poison, and they built with guys that wanted to be there and bought into the culture. Remember, this is post-Katrina. You were a 3-win team. It was a vagabond year. We all remember. And you very quickly turned it around. And then after the Bounty Gate year, then you were back in the playoffs in 13, but then 14, 15, 16, you had the back-to-back-to-back 7-9 seasons. You remember what happened? They went through that process again. The culture was bad. Peyton's talked openly about this. And so there were a lot of players that they purged. Guys who they had bet on. Junior Gillette was a guy that they gave a big contract to. Cut him. They traded Jimmy Graham. Kenny Stills. I mean, guys who were like, Jimmy was a 3rd rounder. Kenny Stills was a 5th rounder. These were productive guys that you were like, not bought in, out. Because that's how much they valued culture. So culture was never something you worried about with the Saints. But when I hear, Alvin Kamara making the comments he's making about our guys doing what they're supposed to be doing, and you use terms like frustrating and annoying, and then DeMario Davis is having to talk to the team, and Cam Jordan's talking about how frustrating it is, and it sucks to lose, and we're not doing enough. Like, it's not your common garden variety, stock, cliched locker room answers. It's kind of spelling out something deeper. And you wonder, man, if you keep losing, does that keep weighing on guys? Now, my opinion is this is your bounce back spot. You've lost back-to-back games. It's been tough to do that. Or, I'm sorry, you lost 2 out of 3. It's win one, lose one, win. You're just volleying wins and losses. And this feels like the bounce back spot where it's a short week. Your veterans are putting everybody on notice. I think people fall in line. You have a good week. Jacksonville has to travel on a short week. Trevor Lawrence is injured. This is a bounce back spot. I think the Saints are going to win on Thursday. They're going to win on Thursday at home against Jacksonville. But can you sustain it? And that's really the problem. Like, do you have the culture and the habits that are ingrained to match the talent, the coaching, to be able to win at the highest level? And I just don't see any of those things. Like, we've talked about the coaching. Clearly, you're deficient in spots in talent. Like, your offensive line is bad. Your quarterback is not great. I think your receivers are great. I think Alvin Kamara is great. I don't know about the rest of the running back room. We'll see when they get Jamal Williams back. Your defense is still playing at a very high level. But you're not as talented as we thought. Your coaching is deficient. And maybe your culture isn't great. It's a lot to worry about with this team right now. We'll see if they can, in fact, bounce back Thursday Night Football with Jacksonville coming in on a short week. All right, we're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. I am really pretty excited about this. Tomorrow, after I drop off Drew at school, I'm heading down to Harahan. I've been telling you, man, our friends over at Michelli spent so much of 2022 expanding all their calibration labs, and tomorrow is the grand opening. Tuesday is the grand opening of the expanded calibration lab there in Harahan. So I'm excited to get down there for the ribbon cutting and the event. So I'll look to see a lot of my friends over at Michelli down there tomorrow in Harahan. So I'll pop down, go to the event, and come back do the show tomorrow afternoon here in Baton Rouge. But look, if it's the Harahan location, if it's the locations in Baton Rouge, any of the 6 calibration labs across Louisiana, or any of their 31 locations across 11 different states, Michelli can help. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. Okay, Otter Locks in about 15 minutes, y'all. We'll get you Otter's best bet on Monday Night Football tonight, see what else the Otter may have on the docket. We'll wrap up Week 6 in the NFL with the Cowboys and the Chargers from out in L.A. Looking forward to a good game tonight. We'll see what the Otter thinks as far as a best bet for that game tonight. We'll get to Otter Locks. When we come back, Muse, Paulie, and I will do our college football takeaways, give you a little thumbnail preview of Monday Night Football as well. Stick around with us here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Not sure if you saw it, but today the state of Louisiana announced the second wave of fortified roofing grants. If you're not familiar, fortified roofing is an extra layer of protection for your roof that is designed to prevent water intrusion during a storm or if you have roof damage. So go to HudcoRoofing.com. There's a fortified tab right there on the homepage. You can click to learn more. The state of Louisiana is offering grants up to $10,000. And so go to the homepage. You'll see the green fortified button. Just tap that, and it'll bring you to the page. You can get more information about fortified roof. If you want help to learn more about fortified or how to submit your grant request, we can help. We'd love to. HUDCO touches every corner of the state of Louisiana, so no matter where you are, we'd love to help. Go to HUDCORoofing.com. I tell you every day, do business with someone you know. That's HUDCO Roofing and HUDCORoofing.com. Online, HUDCORoofing.com.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
I mean, there's always conversations, and I think the norm, in my experience, is when it doesn't go well the week before, they may last a little longer early in the week. But, you know, I can promise you we're truly focused on this next contest, and that's what we're pouring our energy into.
That's Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy. Of course, Dallas got run last week in primetime on Sunday Night Football. They're back in primetime on Monday Night Football tonight in L.A. They just stayed out west in California, and they'll take on the Chargers tonight on Monday Night Football. The Chargers led by Justin Herbert, who's getting his team ready to go tonight?
I think it's just another great opportunity to play football. We're the only game of the night. There's a lot of excitement for it. So being ready to go and getting out there and having a good plan. I think that's important, but just another opportunity to play football.
It is Monday Night Football tonight with the Chargers and the Cowboys. We'll get Otter Locks with Jimmy coming up here in less than 10 minutes from right now. Trying to check the final line on this right now. It hasn't gone off yet, obviously, but Dallas favored by 1.5. The total is 50.5. You can always wager on Monday Night Football at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Tell you every day. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. It's one word, Baton Rouge. Easy to remember. Download the app if you're a new customer. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Make a $5 bet on Monday Night Football or a $5 bet on anything with the code Baton Rouge, and they'll give you $200 in bonus bets instantly. Literally, just make the $5 bet, and you'll have $200 in bonus bets pop into your account instantly right there at the DraftKings Sportsbook. There's a Super Boost tonight available for Monday Night Football. Checking that out. It's Pollard and Eckler, 100-plus rushing yards combined. You could boost to plus 100. Get the terms, opt in. It's all right there at the DraftKings Sportsbook. They got a same-game parlay boost as well. So Monday Night Football boosts are available. You can learn more at the app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. DraftKings, the crown is yours. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Licensing partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. All right, every single Monday, Muse, Paulie, and I come back after the college football weekend. We give you our 3 biggest takeaways. Hit it, Muse!
Another week in the books. What did we learn about the landscape of college football?
Fire away, Muse.
All right, yeah. I learned that Colorado's bowl chances took a massive hit.
Did you stay up?
No, I went to sleep when it was 29-0 because I thought the game was over, Matt.
I stayed up.
Yeah.
Had Stanford plus 12.5. Shout out Phil Steele.
Yeah, had that as well.
I'm not emotional at all about Colorado anymore. I had.
Yeah, you cashed.
Got my
You're
3.5.
right?
Good. Whatever happens with them, good luck
But look,
to you.
I think when they got off to the 3-0 start, all of us said, okay, they can go 6-6 and get to a bowl game. Well, you just lost that layup as a double-digit home favorite when you're up by 30. You got UCLA, Oregon State, Arizona, at Wazoo, and at Utah.
And they keep taking.
That's gonna be real tough.
They keep taking the ball in overtime. Colorado took the ball in overtime. Like, Prime, what are you doing? All right, anyway, go ahead, Paulie.
So you touched on this in around the SEC, but I think Georgia could be in trouble with losing Brock Bowers. He suffered a high ankle sprain in the second quarter on Saturday. They said he will have surgery. He's expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. So best case scenario, he's back. Maybe Ole Miss, Tennessee, or in worst case scenario, he misses the end of the regular season.
Yeah. I'm curious. I'll ask Jimmy if that affects Georgia's championship odds or SEC odds or anything like that. We'll get to that. Third loss for Jimbo. My one bold prediction at SC Media Days, when we always ask which coach isn't going to be back, my prediction this summer was Jimbo. I said Jimbo and Drinkwitz. 3 losses for Jimbo. Still got to play Ole Miss. Still got to play LSU. They're staring down 8-4, potentially 7-5. Sting can do it. I think Jimbo's gone.
Bluegrass State letdowns. Kentucky, they let that Georgia game beat them twice a little bit. Got dominated really after the first quarter. Jumped out 14-0. Got dominated after that. And then Louisville, man, finally, by the way, they had been skirting by teams. Up 21-14 at halftime. Outscored 24-0 in the second half. That's their first L.
Welcome back, Tez Walker.
Sheesh.
North Carolina.
Oh, my God. Now you know why they wanted so badly for that kid to be eligible.
Yeah, in case you didn't know, he was playing in his second game of the season due to eligibility concerns over his transfer waiver. Played in some garbage time against Syracuse last week, but this week he had 6 catches, 132 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
North Carolina's undefeated, still continues to roll.
If you didn't hear Paulie, he said 3 touchdowns for Tez Walker. In a game they won by 10.
Yeah.
Be good. USC not done losing.
Yeah, no.
They're not done losing, which means Caleb Williams is not repeating as the Heisman Trophy winner. That defense, we all knew the defense was bad, but the defense got bullied by Notre Dame. Respect to Notre Dame, but that wasn't close. Southern Cal not done losing. We'll have a new Heisman Trophy winner. And I don't know, it's a great surprise. I think we all had Notre Dame winning that game.
Yes.
I laid the 2.5.
Same.
but they won by like 4 touchdowns.
It was easy, 48-20.
It was easy.
Graham Mertz is better than I thought he was going to be at Florida.
He's not.
Yes, he is.
No,
yes, he is.
Stop.
Yes, he is. He is a massive part of the reason they have 5 wins, threw for 423 and 3 touchdowns. Matt, he is in the midst of his best season ever in college. When I did not think he would fit
played
very
at
well.
Wisconsin.
I
All
don't
they do is run the ball.
And I didn't think he would fit in Billy Napier's offense, yet he's completing 76% of his passes. He's almost thrown for 2,000 yards, and he's only thrown 2 interceptions to 12 touchdowns. He is much better than I thought he would be at Florida, and is the main reason they're 5-2. And my transition.
Are you done?
Michigan State is looking forward to basketball season. So their misery continued. They blew a 24-6 fourth quarter lead for Rutgers.
Yeah, they did.
So bad.
Rutgers scored 3 times in less than 5 minutes to win the game 27-24. So just sit back, enjoy your Urban Meyer rumors, and get ready for some basketball.
Stop hiring criminals. Air Force front runner for the New Year Six.
Hey, yeah.
Air Force 6-0. They do have to play Army. Be interesting. I could be down with that. I could be down with a service academy in the New Year Six.
It's that's the Commander in Chief's trophy that they all 3 play for, right? Yeah.
So Air Force is at Navy, at Colorado State, home against Army, at Hawaii, UNLV, at Boise State. Not easy, but they're 6-0. I mean, they're the front runner right now for the New Year Six among the G5 schools. All right, that's our college football takeaways. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Let me knock out our final break of the show. Come back, do some Otter Locks. See who Jimmy's got us betting on tonight. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Of course, download the Rouse's app like we always tell you. Use that curbside pickup option. Select your items. When you pull up to Rouse's, your personal shopper will bring your items out to your car. It's that easy. Just pull up in one of the designated spaces. They make it so easy. Remember, if you spend $35, that's a free service, no charge to use the personal shopper, the curbside pickup. And if you spend $100, use the code SAINTS20, SAINTS20, and they'll take $20 off your bill. Why wouldn't, I mean, you're making groceries. You got to buy them. Just get $20 for free at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. We always encourage you, man. Local. You look for those Rouse's branded products. Not only are they going to save you money, but they're great quality, and they are Louisiana sourced. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's. This feels like home.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Oddfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, what's up?
What's going on, Matthew?
Well,
how's your Monday?
Great. Great Monday. Tigers win. And we are one step closer to being rid of Dennis Allen forever.
Yeah, he's rather weak. There's no doubt. But you know, boy, that streak just continues. Though Saints under now 15-1 going back to last year. LSU overs. So I mean, it's unreal, and it pushed them around. It was an underfest in the NFL yesterday. Even going back to the Denver-Kansas City game, you know, the divisional unders 2-4-1 for the weekend. You know, we had that under on Thursday night. So it was, well, you know, there's some wild covers, though. I mean, a safety decides the line in the New England Raiders game. I mean, you got Seattle lived in the red zone, and Cincinnati held on to cover the spread some kind of way. Tajay Spears is 3 yards away from busting a 50-yarder to cover backdoor in the early game in London. I mean,
I heard you sweating it live on air, giving the play-by-play. I mean, what are you doing, Otter? Come on, man.
Well, you know what? There's some people that do sports gambling shows that don't even bet. Look, I'll put my money where my mouth is. Okay, you cannot.
No, we got it, brother. Otter's in there like, come on, man. He's got to kick the field goal now. You got to kick the field goal. Is he coming out? Here he comes.
You know, the two-score game, a field goal and a touchdown. Look, I had 6 in Hawaii. They did it on second down, down 10 with over a minute to go from like 45 yards out. So, I mean, everybody has their different approach. Yeah. And with the analytics and abuse of analytics, where it's just a recklessness. Yeah. And then some. I mean, it is all over the place. I mean, Coach Prime he's the guy all over the country. You can't go first in overtime, Coach Prime.
Oh my God,
he's done it
Jimmy,
twice.
we literally just talked about it in the last segment. Like, it's
you can't
what are you
do
doing?
that.
And he did it against Colorado State. They won, but it is a competitive disadvantage. But he keeps doing it, man.
Yes. What do you think? If Stanford went first in the second overtime, they would have just played for a field goal?
Right.
No.
Right.
Okay. So, I mean, you're letting them see your cards.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're letting them see the result, and well, it's just that's inexcusable. So anyway, to tonight's game, with the Chargers and the Dallas Cowboys, a lot of time, man, I like to take the team that was embarrassed to bounce back. I just can't in this spot. I do like the Chargers. I think both of these teams are not, Allen is not real good on the bench for the Saints, but these teams lack a little bit there as well. And, Dak's unsure of himself. The roster's good with the Chargers. We've talked about it a lot. And look, home field is kind of neutralized, but I just like the Chargers in this spot. Their yards per play is a little bit better on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and I think they're gonna get it done tonight. The Wheeler is a little bit of a price tonight in the baseball, but worth it to take Philadelphia.
1 minute remaining.
Money tonight. So the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Los Angeles Chargers.
Wheeler, by the way, in the money line. If you take the Phillies, it's minus 166 at DraftKings. So Otter likes the Chargers. They're getting a 1.5, and then Wheeler and the Phillies tonight on the money line. Where
Keep
are
the
you
Hail
tomorrow?
Marys out tonight. Keep the Hail Marys out of here tonight. So,
Where are you tomorrow?
We're a dozy place, man. Bloody Marys, not Hail Marys. Come on now.
Bloody Mary. Actually, go get your Doze Old Fashioned is actually the way to go if you're going to be a Doze. You know that.
Yes, indeed.
All right, Otter, we appreciate you, man. Good luck tonight. We appreciate it as always. All right, Jimmy Ott joining us every single weekday here for Otter Locks. Give you the best bet of the night. Rolling with the Chargers tonight on Monday Night Football. All right, Muse, Paulie, thanks so much. Y'all have an awesome night. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand. Search After Further Review on your favorite podcast app. Check out YouTube as well. Looking forward to tomorrow's show. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com was doing a whiskey and wine on Saturday. T-Bob and I are doing the show, and somebody walks behind me and goes, Shawbills! It's caught on. It's the Terrio Shawbill scream. But be it a Terrio Shawbill scream, somebody walking by at Don Juan as we're doing whiskey and wine, or if you're just driving down the road and realize that you need your automobile serviced, or if you need new tires, Shawbills can help. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. You could shop tires. You could schedule service. You could chat with an associate. Make it so easy at Shawbills. Like when you've been in business for 50 years and your focus is singular on the customer, you're always finding ways to be more easily accessible to your customer. Go to the website. There's a chat bot at the bottom of the page. You want to text with an associate? You can do it right away. It's at ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales service and